Parks from the Gaslamp to North County. No one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego, and happy Tuesday, everybody out there in America's finest city. Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3. The Fan, going to be talking with all of you guys today. Tough loss for the Padres last night as they drop one in extra innings to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Alongside Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant, kind of taking you through the midday as we get you ready for Gwen and Chris, and then ultimately Padres baseball coming up at 6:40. First pitch, EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show at 5:40. Why is my camera backwards? Oh, it's going to freak me out. It's like a mirrored image, like so everything's backwards on the screen.
Looks fine on my end.
Oh, really? Mine's backwards on my deal.
Yeah, no, looks fine on this side.
Oh, man.
This is fun,
This is
isn't
going to
it?
drive me nuts. It's going to drive me nuts the whole time unless I go to mirror my camera. No, do not do that. Okay, now we're good. All right. Well, it threw me off the track a little bit. But anyway, Padres drop one yesterday, 8-7, in what was a game in which the San Diego Padres made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. And when you make those mistakes, you're not going to win a lot of games. You're just not. And you're not going to beat teams like the Los Angeles Dodgers. And they made a handful of mistakes too. I went back and watched the game last night sporadically, and I went back and I rewatched the highlights today. And when you some of the highlight packages that you see, they're like 15 minutes long, and they have the broadcasts. They have both teams' broadcasts. At one point during the game, the Dodgers broadcaster said, "This is absolutely awful baseball." Talking about the Dodgers yesterday, who went on to win 8-7. Just awful baseball with how they did in the field. So both teams made their mistakes. Unfortunately for the Padres, they made a couple more mistakes than the Los Angeles Dodgers, and that's how you're going to lose. Mix that with a couple of calls that didn't go your way and the way the ball bounced not your way, you're going to get an L. It happens. You got to flush it and be ready for today against the Los Angeles Dodgers and try to even up the series and then try to take 2 out of 3 on Wednesday. There's a lot of problems that the Padres have. They have no left field situation whatsoever. Brandon Lockridge yesterday was awful in the outfield, and that's something he's supposed to be good at. I mean, the way that he read the ball last night was awful. That cost you a run. I mean, people want to blame Wandy Peralta. You got a fly ball to left field, would have been an out. Should have been an out. You know, I still think it's a relatively difficult play to make, reading that off the ball. Sometimes it hovers when the ball's hit right at you. It hovers a little bit. You think like it's going to be shorter than it is, and it goes over your head. You can't make that mistake at that point in time. I don't even want to blame Wandy Peralta for that. It's not his fault. We got to make a play. Then you get a ball bounced off the bag late. I mean, that's unfortunate. And Manny Machado making errors. Xander Bogarts made an error. I mean, defensively, the Padres look like a circus for the first time in about a month and a half. I mean, a circus defensively. Guys that usually make plays. They didn't make any plays last night. They've been rough with runners in scoring position. They have been one of the worst teams in baseball with runners in scoring position since May 16th. It's been laid out in Kevin Acee's daily newsletter. And we're going to get to this later on at about 10:30. Padres players individually with runners in scoring position since May 16th, only 2 of them are hitting over 300. One is Luis Arraez, who's 6 for 16. The other one's Tyler Wade, who's 3 for 8. They're both hitting 375. You only have 2 players currently since May 16th hitting over 200 with runners in scoring position. One's Jackson Merrill, who's 5 for 22 and 227. The other one's Jake Cronenworth, who's 3 for 15. You got 4 players hitting under 200 at least have a hit. Sheets, Diaz, Machado, and Bogarts. And then you have 4 players that are over. You look at your top 3 players in your organization, at least based on payroll. Machado, Bogarts, and Fernando. They have a grand total of 5 hits with runners in scoring position since May 16th. 4 of them coming from Manny, 1 of them coming from Xander, 0 coming from Fernando. When you look at runners in scoring position, we talk about this all the time. It's never really about the hits with runners in scoring position. It's about how many chances you are having with runners in scoring position. And I got news for you. The Padres aren't putting themselves in position to have runners in scoring position. They're 19th in chances right now. Actually, that's wrong. Since May 16th, the San Diego Padres are 25th in chances with runners in scoring position. 25th out of 30. They have only had 192 plate appearances with runners in scoring position since May 16th. So not only are the Padres not hitting with runners in scoring position, as they went 3 for 14 last night and hitting a $178 over the last 23 games, they're not even getting runners in scoring position. People want certain people cut on the team. I see it in the chat. You better cut everybody, man, because that's the way this team is right now. You got nobody playing right now offensively for the Padres, with the exception of Manny. And Manny got hosed last night. That was such a bad call. And the reason why it was a bad call, not because it was the 9th inning, but a reason why it was a bad call is the fact that earlier in the game, that got called ball 4 for Shohei Ohtani, and more of the ball was in the zone. More of the ball was in the zone. So, mixed emotions after last night. I think the Padres offensively, were able to score a lot more runs. You like the way they answered. Dodgers went up 2-0 in the top of the first inning. You answered with 2 in the bottom half. Put up a 0 in the top of the second. Get another 1 in the bottom of the second inning. Dodgers go 3 runs in the top of the third. Padres answer with 3 more runs. You like to see that out of an offense. But as much as I'm getting on the offense, they actually played a lot better yesterday than they've done over the last 23 games. Now, the runners in scoring position have been very good, but at least they're trying to hit the ball a little bit. Pitching-wise, what did I say yesterday? What did I say yesterday about pitching? I am sick and tired of hearing how elite pitching or good pitching beats good hitting. That is such a crock of crap. I'm tired of listening to that. That's not always the case. The Dodgers pitching staff is not very good. Dustin May got rattled around. The bullpen's not great. Bullpen shut the Padres out and limited their hits. I mean, they last 4 innings are hitless before they got to extra innings. If good pitching wins all the time, it doesn't happen for the Padres. I mean, look at 1998. Kevin Brown's like the best pitcher for the San Diego. He's like one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. Guy got lit up by the New York Yankees. Nick Pivetta last night. Man, I need you to be better against the Los Angeles Dodgers. I know it's 1 start, but you got to be better. He's got to be better. The bullpen's got to be better. If you are a team that's built on pitching and defense, and that's what's been going on, and you have good pitching, you can't be giving up 8 runs like that. You got to be able to do good things against good teams. Pitching staff failed them last night. Offense failed them last night. Defense failed them last night. Overall failure. But guess what? Silver lining. And I agree with what Jackson Merrill said. That was a sick game. It's close. I mean, you're rolling out there with Brandon Lockridge and Tyler Wade, and look at the lineup the Padres had. They're going toe-to-toe with the team that spent the most money in Major League Baseball. The most. They lost by 1 run. They had the tying run on second base. If things go a little bit different in the 10th inning, and I think LA got the breaks in the 10th, so the Padres didn't, it's a little bit different. Look at the way that the 10th inning played out. Lockridge has a bad route on the ball. If he doesn't have a bad route on the ball, we got a runner on third maybe with 1 out at least. Ball goes off the base, probably happens anyway, scores a run. And it's a little bit different of a situation. I mean, that game came down to a couple little plays here and there. I mean, they're right there. And as Kevin Acee laid out in his daily newsletter, and I totally agree, it doesn't come down to the final at-bat and didn't come down to Wandy Peralta. There was a mixed group yesterday. I mean, Adrian Morejon almost completely screwed up the game by not being able to throw the ball to first base. What happens in these games, in these big games against the Dodgers, is pressure. And you saw the Dodgers play with pressure, and they didn't play a clean game. And you saw the Padres play with pressure, and they didn't play a clean game. That's what you get out of close, fun games. So even though the offense wasn't there when you needed it, even though the defense wasn't there when you need it, even though the pitching staff wasn't as great as you expected. Now, a lot of that probably has to do with the fact that they're being overused because they've been carrying the team the last couple of weeks. But despite all that, you lost by 1 run in extra innings. Those games are going to happen. They could win tonight, you even up the series, and all of a sudden you're going for a series win tomorrow. You take a look at the bottom half of the 10th inning. Manny Machado up. He gets hosed by a call. Look, the umpiring was not great last night. It's not the reason why you lost. You made too many mistakes. Manny Machado's his ball 4. You got runners on first and second. You get a base hit to right center field by Jackson Merrill on the double. You score at least 1. And at the very minimum, Manny's at third base with 1 out. Or no outs. You have Manny on third with no outs. If Sheets does what he did, and again, there's a lot of what ifs, and strikes out, he got exposed against left-handed pitching the last couple outings. Xander hits a sac fly, now you're tied. I mean, it's the little things that didn't go your way. You can't make multiple mistakes against superior teams. Not superior, but highly talented teams and expect to win. Dodgers broadcasters were saying the exact same thing last night. But it's just game 1 of a 3-game series. It was a tight game. It was a close game. They went down to the wire. Padres answered every single time that the Dodgers put up runs. That's all you really can ask for. You just got to clean up some of the sloppy play defensively. But again, that comes with pressure. You see that when teams play under pressure. And this is a pressure series for both squads. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Want to join the show today? I know a lot of people are emotionally fired up, upset, ready to cut everybody on the team. What do you guys have to say? We'll get your phone calls when we come back. We'll also talk a little bit about some of the tidbits from yesterday's game, including an interesting stat about the Padres and what they've been able to accomplish from a record standpoint. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 10:18 on a Tuesday. Padres lose to the Dodgers last night. That's just so great. I love all the excitement. This is the best series ever for talk radio because everybody overreacts to every game of the series. And we get to do this every single day for the next 2 weeks, with the exception of Friday. Friday will be the only time in the next week and a half in which we're not breaking down a Padres-Dodgers game. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. The overreactions are great. There was one stat I wanted to talk about that I thought was interesting. After last night's loss for the Padres, no team in Major League Baseball has a winning record in games in which their opponent scores first. Padres are now 12-12, and they remain the only team to not have a losing record in such games. That's insane to me. Why do you play 9 innings? Why don't we just play 6? Whoever scores first usually wins statistically. Other tidbits from last night. Bogarts stole his 13th base in 13 tries. No other player in Major Leagues has that many steals without being caught this season. Tatis also stole a base, tied with Bogarts for the team lead. Tatis, who has stolen 5 bases since hitting his last home run on May 27th, now has the same number of home runs as stolen bases. He is one of 5 MLB players, at least 13 of each. Machado 2 for 5 last night, hitting .448 during a 7-game hitting streak. And like I mentioned before, after last night, no team in Major Leagues has a winning record in games in which their opponent scores first. Padres remain the only team to not have a losing record in such games. Padres are 15-22 against teams with winning records, 22-6 against teams with losing records. 9 of the 18 MLB teams that currently have winning records have sub-500 records against teams with winning records. Doesn't surprise me. That's usually how it works. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you want to join the show today, a lot of people are upset about a lot of different things. I mean, at this point, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to defend Xander anymore because it's a waste of my time. The Padres might as well just cut him and eat the $25 million. I mean, at this point, with the way that the fans react to Xander, it's really a losing battle. There's no reason to employ this guy anymore. Even if Xander finishes the year hitting close to 270 and has all of his normal numbers, that would make sense in a logical standpoint. He will never be liked here. So why continue to employ somebody that will never be liked? But at the same time, like eating $25 million a year for the next 10 years would be catastrophically bad. So as much as it is, and it's funny, like our boss Adam Klug said, the definition of insanity is like rolling out Xander every day. You know what also is insane? Letting a bad decision you made in signing Xander Bogarts lead to another bad decision of eating $25 million a year for the next 10 years. But if you don't think he's going to play well ever again, why not cut him? I mean, you should probably just DFA him. If he's that bad, just DFA him. At this point, you might as well do it. You're not going to trade him. Even if you trade him and eat all the money, you got to give something up. I'm not willing to do that with Leo DeVries. It sounds like the Padres were thinking about potentially parting ways, trying to find an exit philosophy for Xander Bogarts. You're not going to trade him. He's not going to waive his no-trade clause. Why pay him to play for another team? Just DFA him. You might as well DFA him. Have Tyler Wade play shortstop the rest of the year. We'll see how that goes. But at this point, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not defending Xander anymore. He is what he is. But if we really think that the Padres are going to be better without him, just cut him. I mean, you might as well just cut him right now if he's that bad. I don't think he's that bad, but at this point, the fan base hates him. There are not, and I don't want to generalize, but I don't think there's a single Padres fan that actually likes Xander Bogarts. I mean, look at the social media. They all hate the guy. He is public enemy number 1 in San Diego. Public enemy number 1. They'd take Eric Hosmer right now over Xander Bogarts. You might as well cut him. I mean, I'm so tired of talking about him that I just want him gone at this point. Just get rid of him. Just get rid of him. There's no reason to keep him. Even if he does well, Padres fans will make excuses of how it doesn't really matter. So why put up the fight. Just cut him. You're not going to be able to trade him. No team is going to take him even if you pay for his contract. Just cut him. Just cut him. Just end the misery right now. Just cut Xander Bogarts. I'm just tired of listening to it. I honestly, I am. I'm just tired of listening to it. DFA is asked now. Why is he still on the team? Would I personally do that? Probably not, because that'd be illogical. But if we're just going to do the high emotion level moves, cut his ass. It would save me so much time of dealing with people DMing me all of that. Just cut his ass. For my sanity and for my mental health, cut Xander Bogarts so I don't have to worry about watching him play anymore. That's where I'm at with this. I mean, nobody thinks he's going to ever do well. Nobody. Just cut him. If we think Tyler Wade is a better option, eat the $25 million, cut him. You can go find a shortstop if you want. I mean, I'm looking at the outfielders right now because you got a hole in left field and you got a hole at catcher. I'm looking at the left. I'm looking at the outfielders right now. We're going to talk about this at 11:30. Frank, we went over on this list because you got to go through again. It's not just going, go get me a left fielder. We got to go get a left fielder. We got to go get a left fielder. Well, you better start finding some guys that make sense. And you first got to start when looking at left field with teams that are not contenders. There are 8 teams, I would say, that are not contenders right now in Major League Baseball. 8. Some of them are kind of a push. Nationals, Pirates, Marlins, Rockies, Angels, Orioles, Athletics, White Sox. Those are your 8 teams that aren't competing right now. You have a couple teams that are maybes. Braves, Reds, Diamondbacks, they'll never trade with you. Red Sox, Rangers, Mariners. Maybes. Those are maybes. I mean, the Red Sox, as bad as they've been, who took 2 out of 3 from New York, are only 4.5 games out of a wild card spot. An organization like Boston, do you think they're quitting at the deadline break? Probably not. That's a pipe dream. So that's where you got to start with. You got to start with that. Those are 8 teams that don't have a lot of good players. I mean, the Orioles might. You might be able to get somebody from the Orioles, but guess what? There's other teams that need outfielders too. According to WRC Plus, we're going to go through this list at 11:30. If you look at the players that are on those 8 teams that I mentioned that strictly play outfield, that have played any reps in the outfield this year, here's your top WRC Plus players. Miguel Andujar, Ramon Laureano, Oneil Cruz, Lawrence Butler, James Wood, Kyle Stowers. I don't know about you guys. There's a couple guys on that list that ain't getting traded. Wilyer Abreu, Alex Call, Randy Arozarena, TJ Friedel, Joe Adell. Joe Adell, by the way, has got a higher WRC plus than Cedric Mullins, Taylor Ward, Brian Reynolds. Jesus Sanchez, Dane Myers, Julio Rodriguez, ain't getting traded. Jordan Beck, Jake Fraley, Jaron Duran, Gavin Lux, Taylor Ward, who's got a sub 100 WRC plus, and Brian Reynolds. Those are all the players that have a 98 WRC plus or higher that are outfielders on teams that are not competing. So you got to find one of those players. We'll talk about, I saw somebody talking about Luis Camposano. We'll talk about him too. I don't even know why he's employed by the Padres at this point. Why is Luis Camposano on the team? Why is Luis Camposano on the team? I don't know. We'll talk more about that later on as well. But let's talk about this offense and the runners in scoring position and your phone calls when we come back. Padres 3 for 14 last night with runners in scoring position, hitting a $178 over the last 23 games. Is this just a slump, or is this a fatal flaw for a team trying to make it October noise? We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 10:34 on a Tuesday. Since we cut Xander Bogarts today on the show because he provides absolutely zero value to the team, according to some, who's playing shortstop? Frank? Who's going to be the everyday shortstop now?
Mason McCoy.
Oh, man. Mason McCoy.
When he gets off the IL, at least.
You're going to put Tyler Wade there every day? Isn't Tyler Wade an everyday shortstop?
Well, you know. I mean,
he could.
he could.
He probably could.
Manny came up as a shortstop. You can
Yeah,
move
maybe
Tyler
we can
Wade
move
to
Manny.
third.
We can move Manny back to shortstop.
Eggy Rosario. Or is he still here with us? Is he still in El Paso?
Eggy? Yeah, he's hitting like a $190 in El Paso.
Good enough.
He hit under 200 in AAA, dude. Like, come on.
Sanders hitting, what, 170 in the majors? Can't be much worse.
I just find it like Jose Iglesias. Jose Iglesias can play shortstop every day. We have shortstop. We have Jose Iglesias play shortstop every day. Cronenworth might be the worst. He was like one of the worst statistical defensive players last year at second base. Let's move him to shortstop.
Good idea.
As a shortstop. All right, let's move. Let's okay. I think the best option is probably Tyler Wade, right? Hit the triple yesterday. Have Tyler Wade play shortstop. Who plays left? Gavin Sheets play left. Who's playing left field? Oh, just go get somebody. Well, just go get somebody.
What did your friend say about Sheets playing left field every day?
If you have Sheets play left field every day, you might need a new outfield wall. Poor guy. Tongue in cheek right now. Just on the whole Xander thing. I'm just tired of listening to the. I mean, it's just nauseating. So, based on what we've done, at least the fans in the YouTube chat, we have cut Xander today. We have DFA'd Jason Hayward, and we have DFA'd Wandy Peralta, which means we're eating now $30 million a year for the next couple of years, plus $25 million a year past that, for players to not play on our team.
Il 619 with an option. Put Camposano in left field.
Oh, yeah, the guy that hasn't had an at-bat in like a month. Guy's 0 for 13. Sorry about Camposano a little bit. I mean, he's on the team just warming up the pitchers in between innings right now.
Better yet, put him at short.
Why not?
Get Xander out of here quicker.
It's true. It's true. I mean, just get rid of him. Oh, yeah, you can sign, ask USD if you could sign AJ Beltre. Put him in left field. Insane. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Whatever I say, people are just going to be upset about it. This guy's all upset about the Xander thing. Just acknowledge you're incorrect and that he is one of, if not the biggest issue with the long-term outlook. Biggest issue. Yep, I was incorrect. He's terrible. He's not good at anything. It's not good defensively. It's not good offensively. It's not good running the bases. It's not good stealing base. He's just not good. That's what I said. Why keep him on the team? If he's not good, why keep him on the team? Eat the $25 million a year. I don't know how people think that's like a great idea, but go ahead, do it. I don't care. Cut his ass and eat the $25 million a year. Do it.
Seeing Go Aztecs in the chat saying that this show is off the rails. No, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We are, as a radio show, as a sports radio show, we are the voice of the fans.
Let's Go Aztecs.
We are doing what you guys want. This is what you guys have been telling us. We're just broadcasting it. We're your voice. That's all we're doing.
Season's over. It's time to start breaking down high school football. One game last night. Didn't go their way. Season's over. I got a TCU football preview ready to go. Ready to go.
Hofstra unveiled their new logo for their athletics department.
You know what? Yeah.
That's our 11:30 right there.
Again, I mentioned it yesterday. I don't want to hear people bitch about what the problems are. Find solutions. If you want the guy off the team and you're not going to be able to trade him, you got to cut him. DFA him. You're not getting anything out of him. You're just going to eat money. So just cut him now. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Do it. I'm telling you right now, Padres fans, you're going to be more upset 3 weeks, a month from now if the Padres actually did that. When some team picks them up because they know they still got some value out of them, don't have to pay him anything. And you can't go back in time and do a move that already has been made. He's on your team. But if you want your solution, you got to work right now in the present. Did I say that before I left? I want to know what you want to do right now in the present.
Yep.
I asked our boy SP. He gave me a full answer. Gave me a full answer of everything he would do if he was the owner of the Padres for a day. I appreciate that. He participated in the question. What do you want to do right now, this moment? Because going back in time and saying the thing that didn't work that's just hindsight. So right now, what are you doing with Xander Bogarts? You can't trade him. Are you cutting him? DFA him then. Say you're going to do that. I guarantee you somebody will pick him up. I guarantee you somebody would pick him up. But if you think right now that cutting Xander Bogarts, I'm not opposed to it right now. Again, I'm tired of talking about him. If you're saying right now, cutting Xander Bogarts and putting Tyler Wade at shortstop every single day is going to get you more wins over the next 2 months, then you do it. You're trying to win a World Series, right? You're trying to do whatever it takes to win a World Series. If you think that is the case, let me know. Could you imagine a situation? I knew this would happen. I knew somebody asked this. Padres DFA Xander. $8 to $25 million. Mookie Betts tells the front office, we love this. Pick him up. And Mookie Betts moves back to right field, and Xander plays shortstop on the Dodgers, and he just terrorizes the Padres for the next 8 years. Could you imagine how incensed Padres fans would be? They'd be incensed. I need solutions. I don't know about Jaron Duran anymore, man. They're Red Sox starting to win. He might not be available anymore. It's hard to say this stuff with a straight face. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. My leadoff hitter to try to get the chat fired up. Some positivity from Carlsbad. Brandon, save the day, buddy. What's going on?
Really B. All right, well, let's first off, boys, let's just cut the throat right now and just squirt carotid everywhere. What you just said about Bogarts going to the Dodgers, being hypothetical, that is we've been dealing with for a long time. How many times have we eaten crow? And that's like a San Diego thing that's happened with the Chargers. Oh, Rodney Harrison, where's he go? He brings rings home, and he's ringing our bells. Like, no, as a coach, just like you, I'm sitting him down. I'm having a deep conversation because Mike Schilt is that soothsayer. He is that baseball whisperer. That's just my opinion. Anybody else can come in and get your chirp on. I was there last night. I sat right at the left field line, right in that Blue Haven right there, and I was holding court. I was ready. I was ready to play baseball in them stands. I'll tell you what, besides that, I saw that pop fly. I saw the whole, because I'm not cheerleading right now. I'm fired up. Okay, I saw B-Lock not get that ball that he should have got. Not making the adjustments, looking like a foreign person in a foreign land. And I'm tired of it. I knew when Wandy Peralta marched out there what we were going to be dealing with because we had pitchers in the cipher that weren't ready to pop up. It is what it is. And here's the funny part, and you can chew and marinate on this. If we would have won last night, the phone calls would be different. And we had more hits than the prior series. You can go multiple ways, right? And I'm not saying I'm right or wrong on anything, but, let's look at it for what it is and not what it isn't, right? We put 7 on the board, but we can't let a team like that hang out too long. We know that they're deadly, but we know we can contend with them. We lost 5 points. Yeah, we took the L. But, all you calls out there listening, you ain't Mike Schilt. So, if I hear your opinion, well, then you should be coaching too and making, a couple million a year as a skipper. But you ain't. All right, I'm out.
Brandon, appreciate the phone call, man. Adam texted us. He's like, you can come up with a creative trade. There's no trade possible. It's impossible. It's not physically. It's not possible. Unless you convince, it's going to be like where he wants to go. Because he's got a no trade. And if he wants to go, he's going to have to pick somewhere he wants to go. Ridiculous. 833-288. The bottom of the lineup is awful. I agree. That's you have a catching position right now that is strictly defense. That eliminates one spot in the batting order. You don't have a left fielder, which eliminates another spot in the batting order. Your bench is not, you swung and missed on a couple of players. Last year, you hit on Solano. And if it wasn't for Peralta hitting a home run in Texas, he probably wouldn't have survived the rest of the season on the Padres. He was about to get DFA'd. So you hit on those guys last year with Jerickson Profar. This year you hit on Sheets, but guess what? You haven't hit on Iglesias. Hayward hasn't been very good. Yuli Gurriel already got cut. It's looking like a lot of 2023. Rougned Odor and Nelson Cruz. Catching position in general is a more defensive position. And again, they keep saying it. It's another reason why I asked the question, why is Luis Campusano on the team? We'll talk about that in the 11 o'clock hour. You're basically playing with 25 guys in the lineup. If Luis Campusano didn't come up to hit yesterday as a right-handed hitter off the bench for Gavin Sheets on a lefty-lefty for a player that is not good against lefties in Gavin Sheets, when is he ever going to come up? And he's not going to catch. They've already said he's not going to catch. So what exactly is he doing on the team? So you need a right-hander off the bench that could go out there and play. Or at least a right-hander DH. You don't have one of those. Frank and I compiled the list. You got to go through some of these tiers. You can't just go get the best outfielder available. It's not possible. But you got to look at the list. I'm telling you, there's not a lot better out there. Talk about the bottom of the lineup. Most teams in Major League Baseball's bottom of their lineup is not very good. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We got him fired up today, Frank. We got him fired up today. Jason and Encinitas, you're on the Braden Surprenant show. What's going on, man?
Hey, Braden. Welcome back from Italy.
It's good to be back.
Trip. Look, if we fast forward to the end of the year and the Padres, for sake of argument, have a good year and achieve what they hope to achieve, a deep playoff run or maybe in the World Series, it's going to be a function of Fernando getting back on track. It's going to be a function of Jackson getting back on track and getting some things break their way with King and or Darvish and finding some production in left field. The conversation about the catching position and Xander, and everyone acknowledges it's a bad contract, but those are not going to be determinants of this team's success at the end of the season. If we make the presupposition that they have a good year, it's going to be the things I mentioned in the first place.
I agree with you. I don't know what that clicking noise was. We had 4 people in the YouTube chat. Click, click, click. Click, click, click. He's 100% right, though. I'm going to let this emotional hour continue, and then we'll start we're just going to start talking some sense in the 11 o'clock hour, Frank, on some of this stuff. But you got a lot of players at the top of the order that are in a little bit of a slump right now that need to contribute. I talked about it already on the runners in scoring position situation. I wanted to go over these numbers. I'm going to go over them real quick. Padres 3 for 14 last night with runners in scoring position. $178 over the last 23 games. Is this just a slump or a fatal flaw for a team trying to make October noise? Padres with runners in scoring position since May 16th. Arise is 6 for 16. Wade is 3 for 8. They're both hitting 375. Merrill's 5 for 22. Cronenworth's 3 for 15. Sheets is 4 for 21. It's a $190. Diaz is 3 for 18. Machado's 4 for 24. Machado and Diaz have contributed the same amount with runners in scoring position since May 16th. Think about that for a second. Elias Diaz and Manny Machado have the same batting average with runners in scoring position since May 16th. 167. Bogarts is 1 for 15. Tatis 0 for 13. Out of all of their their top 3 payroll players, Machado, Bogarts, and Tatis, have a combined 5 hits. with runners in scoring position since May 16th, and Fernando's got 0. Here are the Padres' totals with runners in scoring position before May 16th. They were 19th in chances, 418 plate appearances with runners in scoring position before May 16th. They were 12th in hits, 5th in batting average, 29th in home runs. We know they don't hit home runs. 12th in runs scored, 20th in RBIs, 25th in walks, 11th in sac flies, 14th in OPS, 4th in batting average on balls in play, and 10th in WRC plus. Since May 16th, they have had less chances, 25th in Major League Baseball in chances. They are 28th in Major League Baseball in hits with runners in scoring position since May 16th. Their average is the worst in Major League Baseball at $1.78. They have not hit a home run. They're 28th in runs scored, 27th in RBIs, 25th in walks, 21st in sac flies, 30th in OPS, 29th in batting average on balls in play, and 30th in WRC plus. Those are the Padres team totals with runners in scoring position since May 16th. They actually hit the ball a little bit yesterday. Just didn't do it runners in scoring position. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Kevin and Chula Vista, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on? Kevin, are you there?
Braden,
there we go.
Braden, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing better than a lot of other people
back.
on a Tuesday, man.
Welcome back. No, the first thing I would do is DFA the entire chat room. How about that?
That sounds good.
I mean, the biggest mistake 97.3 made was creating a chat room where people can sit in keyboards, anonymously gaslight all day long because they don't have the courage to get on the phone and call Braden Surprenant. So, let's DFA them. And, it's ridiculous. First of all, Xander Bogarts ain't going anywhere. Not for the money they're paying him. I don't know why we're having this silly discussion. Anybody that would suggest otherwise is just absolutely out of their minds because it's not reality. They're stuck with him. They made the deal. If you don't like the deal, go back to Peter Seidler, look at his statues and all the memorials and say, Peter, why did you do that? How about that? Now, let's talk about the Padres. First of all, it's great that we're in second place. It's amazing that given the injuries and the lack of production up and down the lineup that we've had, that we're still sitting there in the thick of things because fortunately the Dodgers aren't that much better off than we are. So that's a good thing. So let's celebrate that. I would talk about Fernando in this regard. I wonder, and I'm not a hitting coach, I'm not a baseball expert, I'm just a fan. I wonder what his mental approach to this game day in and day out is, because I never seem to hear this in terms of what his prep is like. Is he a student of the game, or is he more of a guy that's enamored with his physical prowess and he's a slugger and not a hitter? There's a big difference. It's the same thing as you well know with pitchers. You've got pitchers and you've got throwers. I don't see after 6 years of Fernando where he has graduated much into becoming a very educated hitter. The book on Fernando, correct me if I'm wrong, he can't hit outside pitching to save himself because after 6 years in the major leagues, he has yet to make that adjustment. Is that true?
Well, he's right now is with Fernando, and I appreciate the phone call, Kevin, because we're getting up to the break here. He's not right. There's something going on. I'm glad he had a little bit better at bats yesterday, than before, but he's definitely not right in certain ways. And we talked about that yesterday a little bit on the show. I think when he is right, he is probably one of the best players in Major League Baseball. We looked at the beginning of the year, everybody's ready to give him an MVP. That's how good he was at the beginning of the season. And he came out ready to go. And then all of a sudden, something has happened in which he is just mentally looks like he's going through something. And that's not an excuse. Everybody's got to go through stuff in life. And I don't know what his is. And I don't know if it's getting better, or if it's getting worse or anything like that. But you just got to hope that he could turn it around. I mean, that's another big reason why the team is not doing well. I mean, the team is built on the top 6 players in the order really carrying the team. And right now, there's only like 1 or 2 doing that. And that's been the case ever since the Padres had some injuries at the beginning part of the season. They haven't been able to have their top of the order firing on all cylinders yet. It's amazing, Frank, after one game, what was, I knew this was going to happen too. Regardless if it was a win or a loss, it was going to be Overreaction Tuesday. I'm here for it.
And Wednesday.
And Wednesday.
And Thursday.
And Thursday, we get to collectively do it with the roundtable, which is even more fun. John in Carlsbad, Brad and Escondido will get to you when we come back at the 11 o'clock hour. We'll start talking about more of the Padres and trying to fix some of their problems. Again, I want solutions, not just telling me where the problems are. We all know there's a problem in left field and catching. Talk about that when we come back. The Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Hour number 2 of the Braden Surprenant Show. Hour number 1 was the emotional roller coaster overreaction hour. In the final hour, we're going to give away tickets to the Padres Royals game on June 21st. Celebrate Star Wars weekend with the Padres June 20th to the 22nd. Join us for the galaxy-sized fun and secure seats at Padres.com/tickets. The second hour, there's a lot more baseball coverage on 97.3. Is presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com and get a great deal on iPhone 16 Pro. We went with the emotional decisions in the first hour. Frank, would you agree with that?
I would definitely agree with that.
Let's go with the emotional decisions of just cutting everybody. We cut Xander. We DFA'd Jason Hayward. We DFA, I don't know who else. We did Wandy Peralta. Who else did we DFA? We DFA anybody else? You can't DFA much more because you don't have anybody else to play. Somebody said go sign a free agent shortstop. What a great idea.
We do have to do that, and that was brought up in the chat. Of this, one of the super chats that we got. How is it possible Manny leads MLB in errors with 12?
So when a ball is hit to you,
oh no, not let's
and
let's
it's
do this
routine,
real. It's not the sarcasm hour
and
anymore.
you miss it, it's an error, and he's got more of those than everybody else does.
It's not the sarcasm hour anymore, man.
I'm just explaining, like the Baylor kid did in the basketball NCAA tournament.
Well, congratulations. We're never getting another super chat ever again. Thank you for that.
I don't know. That's not how do you answer that question? How does he? Because he has more errors than everybody else. I don't know. What answer do you want on that? What kind of it's a rhetorical question. Frank, answer it for me. Why does Manny Machado have the most errors in Major League Baseball?
Because when the ball gets hit,
yeah, exactly. When it's a routine play and you mishandle it, it's an error, and he's got more of those than everybody else. Of course. All right, so we went through the emotional decision-making hour. Again, I want solutions from people. And if they want the solution of they think cutting Xander is a good idea, again, I don't believe this. I think DFAing Xander would be the dumbest move the Padres could ever make. You think signing Xander Bogarts was dumb? DFAing him in the third year of a gigantic contract is insanity. It's moronic. Trying to find a solution that makes sense. Bitching and moaning that he's not the player in Boston is not going to do you anything. I am all for batting him lower in the lineup. I don't care about that at all. But here's the reality. We're going to have the reality hour here in the 11 o'clock hour. We had the emotional hour. DFA'd everybody, right? That was our solution. We're going to cut this guy, cut that guy, cut this guy. Go get somebody else. Go sign a free agent shortstop. Has anybody picked up Hunter Renfroe? I don't think anybody's picked up Hunter Renfroe. Was he what team DFA'd him?
It's Kansas City.
The Kansas City Royals. He got DFA'd by the Kansas City Royals, and nobody picked him up for a league minimum. We think that is better than what we currently have in left field. If we did, they would have picked him up, but they don't. So, again, solutions. Let's think about it from a reality standpoint. With Xander Bogarts, who is your best option right now at shortstop? Frank. To play defensively at shortstop, who is your best option to play shortstop without having to move the entire defense around?
Xander Jedediah Bogarts.
It's Xander Bogarts. So in reality, he has to play shortstop. Now, back in the day, and for a lot of cases, shortstops not necessarily huge hitters. So you can live with a shortstop that's just more of a defensive guy. Now, is he a great defensive shortstop? No, but on your team, currently, to play every single day, he is the best option you have. The best option you have. So he needs to play shortstop. Does he bat fifth? No. I wouldn't have him bat fifth. I think he should bat seventh right now. But the thing is, in the reality of the situation, is for every player that you want to cut emotionally, or every player that you want to move down in the order emotionally, every player you want to bench emotionally, you need to replace said player. And the answer can't be, that's not my job, that's AJ Preller's job. That's such an easy take to have. Hey, your team sucks. Okay. You should get rid of this guy. Okay. You should get rid of that guy. Okay. Bat this guy lower. Okay. Bench this guy. Sounds good. So you cut 3 players and you benched 1. Who replaces them? Well, I don't know. That's not my job. Bro, shut up. Man, shut up. It's not how this works. You got to find different places. You got to find different solutions. I talked about, and we're going to talk about when we come back, about Luis Camposano, why he's being employed. I'm going to tell you right now, if there was a solution that was better than him in AAA, he'd probably be up. That guy would probably be up on the major league level. So again, if Xander's the best option at shortstop, he's going to have to play shortstop. Now, I'm here. I've said this before. Maybe you bat him lower in the order. I think that's fine. I think there's a lot of teams in baseball that would take Xander Bogarts batting 8th. If you want to roll out Jose Iglesias every single day at shortstop, go ahead. Give it a shot. If you want to roll out Jake Cronenworth to play shortstop every single day, go ahead. Give it a shot. Who plays second? Moving Tatis to shortstop right now would be insane. Go ahead. Put him at shortstop. Who plays right field now? Gavin Sheets? Okay, who's your DH now? Luis Arias? Who plays first now? I mean, you just go down the list. I mean, you start creating more holes and problems everywhere else. I don't think there's a lot of teams that would have benched Xander Bogarts by now. I don't really think that's the case. You just got to leave it alone. You let the Padres play their way out of the situation that they're in. They do need to address the left field position. We're going to talk about that at 11:30. We got options for you so you can make solutions. Come up with solutions. But again, as much as I played the emotional game. It was hard. I was trying to keep a straight face. It was hard to do. Of just like giving in to just cutting everybody. But you have to understand the reality of the situation of what you've been into. You can't go back and change the past. You have to make decisions on what the situation is at hand. Do not let what possibly is a poor decision of signing Xander Bogarts turn into multiple bad decisions in the future to try to overcome a bad decision in the past. You have to act in the present of the situations at hand. They're not going to go get a shortstop. Again, you got Leo coming up. You're just trying to buy some time with him in the shortstop position. Padres have other issues. The roster you have that you spent money on is what the roster is. It's the roster that you have. Find solutions within the constraints of what you have in front of you. If you don't think there are other options than what you currently have on the team, I don't know what to tell you. They will make a move at the deadline. But again, we look at the outfield situation right now for the 8 teams that are out of contention. There's not a lot available. And I think Preller has done, he's made a lot of mistakes, but he has also done a really good job of combing over Major League Baseball and finding players that you wouldn't think about adding to your team. It's done good and bad. But the solution cannot just be cut everybody we don't like and then replace them with the best player that might be available. It's not possible. So we went from emotional first hour, Frank, to now all right, let's get back on track here. And understand that some of these things are not possible. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Juan in Oceanside, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Juan?
Hey, what's up, Braden? I'm just calling to see if this would be a valid solution. And I think it actually has nothing to do with Xander Bogarts. It has everything to do with Luis Arias. So my question to you is, what if we trade Luis Ariz to a team that needs a first baseman, and we use the prospects that we get for Luis Ariz and flip him for someone like Ryan O'Hearn to cover first base, or potentially also get an outfielder?
The thing with Luis Ariz is I think the Padres value him more than most teams in Major League Baseball. And I saw this tweet earlier today. It was sent to me. And I think a lot of teams have this potential, have this philosophy. But when you look at Luis Ariz, since the 2023 All-Star Game, Luis Ariz has a 107 WRC plus and a 1.6 WAR. This is from Mike Petriello. He goes, I get that the 4% K rate is wild and everybody loves that, but we're also now coming up on 2 calendar years of not adding a ton of value overall. I think the Padres value Ariz more than other teams do. So I understand where you're coming from, in which if you trade Ariz to a contender, maybe you get some good prospects, but I just don't think you're going to get the prospect capital back that you would think, because every team evaluates players differently. And so when you look at the Ariz deal, you're not going to get anything back enough that you can flip, in my opinion, into a Ryan O'Hearn or into somebody that you would want. Luis Ariz on this team, Padres value him from that perspective. I don't know how many teams value Ariz to that level. And I think he's going to be a very interesting player to watch in free agency this year, because he's projected to get around like $15 million a year. Aside from maybe the Padres, who don't have the money to spend $15 million a year for the next couple of years on a guy like Luis Ariz, I don't know how many teams are going to be willing to do that. But I like where your head's at. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Davis in Oceanside, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going, Braden?
Nothing much.
Hey, so I know the Xander slander gets exhausting, but I just want to try to put it in perspective and then get your opinion. Jake Cronenworth and Xander Bogarts objectively have a pretty similar offensive profile in terms of production. The on-base percentage favors Jake Cronenworth a little bit, but batting average, home runs, everything else, I think are pretty similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody hates on Jake Cronenworth the amount that we hate on Xander Bogarts. And in my opinion, the reason for that is when Cronenworth's up there, he's aggressive, he's into the game, he's very intense. It looks like he's competing when giving it everything he's got. When Xander's up there, it just, from my eye test, it just feels like he's going through the motions, almost like a deer in headlights, like just not intense, not really competing. And I know that's a subjective thing to say, but it just time and time again, he makes bonehead plays out in the defensive side. On the offensive side, when you see him walk in the batter's box, it just feels like you have no chance at all to make anything happen. So I guess the question is ultimately to try to shift the hatred towards Xander. What could the media do, or what other stories or light could we shed on Xander's approach to the game? I know you mentioned about Tatis earlier, but what's Xander's approach to the game? What is he doing to get better? And how do we convince our fan base that he's not just there to show up, clock in, take a paycheck, and clock out? Because that's how it feels.
Let me ask you, Davis, did you read the full article that Kevin Acee wrote a couple weeks ago about Xander Bogarts that talks about all of the adjustments he makes and how much he cares about the game? Did you read that article?
I didn't know.
You should read that article. In that article, okay, Xander Bogarts goes through and talks about how he's making adjustments mid-at-bat, which, by the way, is mentally insane. Making adjustments in between at-bats is something you're doing when you're pressing because you really want to do really well, and you're not getting the results you want, and you can't be doing that. Imagine trying to make an adjustment. Do you golf, Davis?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever tried to make an in-swing adjustment while you're about to drive to start off the tee box? How do those shots work out for you? How do those shots work out for you? When you're sitting there going like, I got to do this with my swing. When you're thinking about your swing, it's awful. Let's say you shank your first one and you take a mulligan and you go, well, I got to do this time. How's the second shot work out for you?
Yeah, not well.
Not well. I encourage you to read the article. Look, and Davis, I think you bring up a good perspective. Now, some of the things I see out of Xander Bogarts that I disagree with, I think he works counts. I think he does a good job getting himself on base. I think he always gives you a hard 90. I mean, I hardly ever see Xander Bogarts not give you the effort to first base. Am I mistaken there, Frank? I mean, the guy hauls ass down to first.
Yes, he does.
Fernando doesn't do that all the time. Manny doesn't do that all the time. Do I need them to do that all the time? No, I don't. But Xander gives you a hard 90. So for a guy that's making in at-bat adjustments, which I think is dumb, but he's doing it, it shows he's not, it's not like he's not caring. I get this all the time. I get this from people all the time. Well, what we see is like he doesn't care. He does care. You can see it when we go down there. Now, Frank and I are blessed enough to go down to the press or down to the in the clubhouse and see this guy work every single day. Not all of you guys get to do that. So it's a little perspective. But go back and find that article that Kevin Acee wrote on Xander Bogarts. You're going to learn everything you need to know about Xander Bogarts. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to like him a lot more than Eric Hosmer and base the effort that he put in. But again, it's a results-based business. He's not putting together the results. He's not. But I will defend any player that gives me his best effort. I will. Sometimes it's just not up to par, and sometimes it doesn't work. I will not criticize a player if the process is there and he's trying to do the best. Now, if he doesn't give a you-know-what and he's jogging down and all this other stuff and it looks like he's checked out, yeah, boo the hell out of that guy. He doesn't deserve to be here. But until Xander gets to that point, that's why I'm going to defend what he does. And again, thinking about it from a realistic standpoint, we keep breaking it down. I mean, you're trying to find options here. He still gives you the best option at shortstop without completely changing the defense. And you're not going to be able to trade him. So you have to find different spots in the order for him to try to succeed. You have to find ways for him to succeed because he's on your team. So that's up to the coaching staff. That's what they get paid to do. That's up to the Padres organization to try to get him right, but they got to do everything they can to get that guy going because they're paying him a lot of money to do it. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, get more of your phone calls. We'll also dive into why is Luis Camposano still employed by the Padres? San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 11:23 on a Tuesday. We got tons of people trying to find solutions to the Padres' problems. We're here for all of them. Here for all of them. Unfortunately, not all the solutions are just DFAing players. You can't be doing that all the time. I wouldn't mind betting. The Xander Bogarts conversation. He's not even like the lead. He's one of the problems, but there's so many of them. I don't mind him batting lower in the order. But again, he's on your team, like I said before. And until you start finding replacements for him on the team that you think would do a better job every single day, it's going to be tough to deal that. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Steve in Carlsbad, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Steve?
Hey, Braden. First of all, it's so glad to have you back on, and this show is a breath of fresh air for sports talk radio in San Diego.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
I mean, me and my buddies are like over the moon just because we can call in, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so getting to the subjects at hand. Okay, Bogarts is a player's player. He's a pro's pro, but he's just seen better days. I mean, you want to root for him. The guy's such a nice guy. I read that article. I already knew, what he was all about. So it's not lack of, effort, but I mean, he kind of boggled a double play. He just, his bat's not there. He's, God, it's just, he's just not quite there for what we need. Okay, we can't lose Ariza's bat, even though he's, in my opinion, he's not a proper first baseman. So that's something I think we need a proper left fielder and a proper first baseman. Why did they take Wade out of left field last night? I'm just wondering.
I don't know why they did that. There's a lot of people asking that question. Did anybody ask Mike Schilt that yesterday, Frank?
I didn't. Like I said, I've been behind. I don't think so.
There's a couple of things that I thought were interesting last night they didn't do. One was that. The other one was I would have loved to known if a rise in the ninth inning with Tatis going after second, because everybody's like, why did he swing when he's stealing? It's called a hit and run. They have those. I would have loved to known if that was a called hit and run or if they have one of the, like, remember, they used to call it themselves, like in the 90s. Tony could call it himself with Kilvio Veras on first base. They do their own hit and runs. I don't know what I don't know if they have that ability. I don't know if Arise has that ability, if they called it themselves, if it was a called hit and run. But as I said, it could have been a hit and run. People were saying a lot about like, well, why would they do that? I don't know. Would I have done a hit and run there? No, I would have had Tatis steal second base. If he gets thrown out, forget it. You have Tatis on second to start extra innings. I think it would have been worth just the steal. I don't know why he swung at the first pitch and made it a hit and run, unless it was a hit and run. Nobody asked him that last night. I think that was a questionable call. I think, a lot of people were like, why did Wandy Peralta pitch in the 10th inning? Who else are you going to pitch? I looked at look at the bullpen usage of the last however many days. 65 plus bullpen innings over 16 games. Estrada and Morahone have worked 3 of the past 4 days. They both already pitched in that game. Sean Reynolds, Yuki Matsui, and Robert Suarez have worked 2 straight days. They already had pitched in that game. Jason Adam, who did not pitch last night, could probably still use another day after working 11 of the past 19 days, so he wasn't available to pitch. Who are you going to throw? Morgan? In the 10th inning? I saw my guy Prolific in the chat about Wandy Peralta. Hey, look, I get it. Like, I don't necessarily know if I want to put Wandy Peralta in there in the 10th, but who else are you going to throw? You going to go Suarez another inning? Could have done that, I guess. I mean, you could pick and get a lot of different things. The question was why did they take Tyler Wade out of left field? I think that's a legit question. I don't know why they did that. You could have he was having a pretty good day. Just leave him in. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Howie in the South Bay. Howie on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on?
Howie,
what's going on?
hey, you got me.
Gotcha. What's up,
Hey,
dude?
I waited to talk about it yesterday. And I think one of the deals is that everybody has this, what they're supposed to hit, like a 300 hitter. We got one in right field. We got another guy in another position, but it doesn't always work that way because it's a living organism. And I think it goes back to my dad yelling at the TV during Steve Arlen times and Clay Kirby times. You have to move the ball players over. You have to bunt. You have to run and hit. You have to hit and run. You have to do all kinds of things that this team doesn't seem to be able to do. You have to be able to lay a good bunt down. My dad used to work us out, and he would make the worst hitters the best bunters. If he could make them the best bunters, that's something that they weren't before. And that's what's going on that I see. They're not taking advantage of all the things that they can do. In yesterday's knowledge, this is what they did. I had a guy come to a folks' birthday party or a party at the house. His name was Sid Durst. He took a look at my hands because I was catching. He says, "You need to bite your nails so that you don't get a nail torn off from catching." There's all kinds of old mythology that's not so good, but there's real knowledge that they used to do. Sid Durst used to room with Babe Ruth, but he happened to know my folks. And my dad used to play AAA fast pitch softball where you would win with a good bunt. But that's about all you could get out of some guys because you couldn't see to hit the ball.
Yeah, we lost Howie there. This team plays more small ball than anybody else. I've seen Arise drop down thousands of bunts. Maybe not 1,000, but you get what I'm saying. He's dropped down a lot of bunts. It's not like it's like the power hitting team, Padres. They're moving runners and stuff. They just can't get the runners in. It's not a bunting problem. I understand the conversation, though. I appreciate the phone call, but it's not a bunting problem. People in the chat, what is he talking about? I don't know, dude. We lost Howie. I mean, they've done squeezes, they've done contact plays, they do hit and runs, they do steal. They had a double steal the other day in Milwaukee. Am I watching different baseball games, Frank? You're watching the same games, right?
I mean, we usually are watching different games, but the games don't match up on time. But they have done small ball things this year.
You got to bunt more. But usually get at least one of those calls a year. Maybe a couple. And usually it's around the time that the Padres go in a little bit of a slump. You get they should be bunting a little bit more. They played you know what? I mean, I've gotten some hostility out of the chat today in my direction. They're on my side after that last phone call. So thanks for bringing us together. Howie, we appreciate it. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to talk about why Luis Camposano is employed by the Padres. When we come back, we will also get to today's sports thread and more of your phone calls as the Braden Surprenant Show continues on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Ben and Woods on The Fan.
Coming up on a Big League Wednesday, we'll wrap up Game 2 of the series between the Padres and Dodgers and get you ready for the early series finale.
Listen to Ben and Woods weekdays from 6 to 10 on 97.3 The Fan.
The following is attorney advertising. If you or someone in your family was hurt in an accident, don't let big corporations take advantage. At Singleton Schreiber, we fight for what's fair and we make them pay. Call Singleton Schreiber today and we'll make them pay. Call 877-600-6000. That's 877-600-6000. Accidents are hard enough. The last thing you need is some corporation trying to shortchange you. At Singleton Schreiber, we go toe-to-toe with the corporate giants because you deserve better. Medical bills, lost wages, pain, and stress. We know what you're up against, and we fight for every dollar you're owed, every expense, every hardship, every moment of pain. We fight to get what you deserve. Don't wait. The clock is ticking. Call 877-600-6000. That's 877-600-6000. Your fight starts with one call. Call Singleton Schreiber today, and we'll make them pay. Gerald Singleton is responsible for this attorney advertising. 591 Camino de la Reina, Suite 1025, San Diego, California, 92108.
Hey, it's Baja Rick. Craving a taste of Baja? Rockin' Baja Lobster and Baja Rick's Cantina will treat your gang to the flavors of the Baja Coast right here in San Diego. Large parties and family gatherings are our specialty. Our big Baja bucket for two, sizzling fajitas, whole Puerto Rico-style lobster, chilled margaritas, and rockin' tunes will make every meal feel like a beachside celebration. Join us at Rockin' Baja Lobster and Baja Rick's Cantina, just steps from Petco Park in the heart of Old Town and Oceanside Harbor. Eat, drink, and be Baja.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey gang, it's Woodsy. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Your home's equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt.
$11:38. On a Tuesday, Padres Dodgers game 2 tonight at 6:40. Sam Levitt will have the pregame show. Ecowater SoCal Padres pregame show at 5:40. Frank Marchese, Braden Surprenant. I don't want to get too much into detail about this because Frank doesn't want to talk about it, but a lot of our listeners wanted to know. We got a thumbs up or a thumbs down after last night?
Feels like a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Feels like a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Could have been longer, but got a little late.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Look at this.
No, it was good.
You're in a way better mood than you were when I was talking about Italy. I'll say that.
Yeah, I wonder why. But yeah, it went well.
We
yesterday.
started the show today. Now, it was a little bit of distraction with the Padres Dodgers game. I think Frank's got a lot of bots in the chat to try to throw me off my scent of what Frank did yesterday. But you know what? We just wanted to let the people were at. I was getting texts. How'd it go for Frank? Last night at softball, people were like, how do you think Frank's doing right now? And then I hand up accountability. This is on me. I sent Frank a show text yesterday in the prime time that he was busy. And as soon as I sent it, I'm like, oh, no.
Okay, hold on.
Hand up. That's on me. It's on me. I should have known better.
Let's time out here for a second.
Okay.
It was just a picnic and walking. That was all it was.
You know what?
There was no prime time.
Ask.
There was no prime time, nothing that happened.
Well, if you are walking, picnicking, and talking, that was during the hours that I texted you. You shouldn't be distracted with your phone.
I wasn't.
Francis.
I was not.
Okay. You did respond to my text, though. You don't need to do that. In this particular sense. Any other sense, then
when
yes.
did I do that?
When did I do that? I sent it at 5:12.
Oh, that was before.
Oh,
yeah,
we're still pre. You were still mentally in a box.
Yes. Yeah, that was before.
Frank was in his locker. Got the headphones on.
Yeah.
Getting in the zone. What's your pregame? What was your pre-picnic tunes like to get in the zone?
Just whatever came up next on my Spotify, really. That was really what it was.
Were you getting hyped? You getting hyped, or is it more like calm? Like
no, I was
trying.
I was trying to calm down. Is what I was, because again, I don't interact with people well, because I just don't. But
we love you here at the Fans. So
yeah, of course, and I love all of you guys too. But just trying to relax the first date nerves and jitters and that kind of thing, and yeah. It was a good day.
All night long, Lionel Richie?
No, it was not. No.
That wasn't the song you played?
No.
Some vocal exercises?
No, there were.
Hey, so you got sandwiches?
Yeah, we made them. Yeah.
Made them?
Yeah, made
Did you
sandwiches.
make them together? Did you make them?
No, I got cold cuts and we made what we wanted.
How about that? So you went to Vaughn's or something like that? Got some cold cuts?
No, went to Ralph's because Vaughn's doesn't sell Boar's Head.
Okay. Sorry, struck a nerve there. Went to the grocery store.
Got some Everroast chicken.
What type of bread you serve it on?
Rolls.
Okay.
Got croissants as well. Bagels. I had like a whole spread.
I got to hear the spread. Or do we got to say that for the lunchtime hour?
We could say that for the lunchtime hour. That's fine.
What was Frank's spread at his picnic? No, I want to hear it now.
Oh, you want to hear? No, it was.
Did you get a little basket?
No, I did not.
That'd have been dope, dude. You to show up with the basket, the red and white checkered towel in there.
It was yellow and white, actually.
Didn't have Mr. Met on it, did it?
No, it did not.
Okay.
No, it was rolls, bagels, croissants. Everroast chicken. I asked her what she wanted. She said the chicken was fine. Mustard, deli mustard, actual genuine deli mustard, chips and drinks.
Nice. Sounds like a good time.
Well, some nice flowers.
What time did you go? Like 6?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
6 o'clock?
Yeah, 6 to about 8:45.
Shelter Island, great spot.
Oh, it was a fantastic
great spot. How was the weather at that late? Because it was socked in in the morning, but it looked like it cleared up.
It was clear. I mean, it was a little bit hazy, but other than that, it was very clear. Like looking over downtown was clear. No, the weather was a little gray. It was a little gray over us, but where we were looking at downtown was nice and clear.
But it finished strong. Had communication since?
Not as of yet. But
you didn't text her after she...
No, I did. I texted her this morning.
Okay.
So.
All right. People are busy at this age, right?
Working.
So let us know if you get number 2. We got a lot of good. Hey, we got a lot of good connections with restaurants. That sets you up.
Yeah,
especially Italian
boy,
ones.
Don't
in town.
we?
Especially Italian ones in town.
Mona Lisa's hit us up.
I'd love to have a Mona Lisa's endorsement. My grandparents been going there forever. My great grandmother's been going there, where she used to go there. Great spot. Anyway, I want to get out there. I think people were fired up. I was getting texts off the chain. I mean, I was like, I didn't go on a date.
No, I feel as though it went well. She had fun, so
good.
Yeah, I think it was a very nice. It was a nice night either way.
Does she listen? I was about to ask this, Trev. Does she listen to our show?
God, I hope not yet.
Did you tell her that you're on the show?
I did tell her what the deal is with me, is at least as far as work and stuff goes. So.
Well, at this point, if you haven't gotten a text from her during the segment, I think we're in the clear.
Unless
she listens in podcast form, which you guys can do. You guys can listen in podcast form. Maybe she subscribes to the YouTube page. You guys can also do that. Follow us on the Braden Surprenant Show at @B_Surp Show or at @B_SURP. Or you can follow Frank Marchese.
Yes.
All right, good. That was good. Good. I'm glad it was good. It's a little bit more positive than what we were talking about the last 2 hours.
Oh boy.
She ain't listening, dude. You're okay. We're not gonna say her name. We're gonna say anything. We're good.
Yeah, no, that definitely. Names will not be mentioned.
Don't do a daily recap of date nights with Frank. We'll do in the relation. Come on, dude. Be more positive. Go Aztecs.
No,
the fans just wanted to make sure that Frank had a good night.
Yeah, it became a thing yesterday. Today's the last we're going to hear about it.
Like I said, it comes with the territory. Now, I don't go on dates, so I don't have to worry about this problem. But if I did, you would have to know. Which makes me feel like any other date that I go on from here on out, I must not tell them that I have my own show. If we want to do it for content. I don't want it to be like, oh, he's just doing this date for a content. But I'm glad Frank opened up. Again, we dance around a little. That's why, like, yesterday I was like, hey, positive vibes. We want positive vibes. You guys can pick it up.
Vibes were positive yesterday.
Braden hasn't told us of his love connection he had in Italy. I love all Italians. It was a great time.
At least you didn't make that sound awkward.
That's right.
Good job there.
It was on a family vacation. Go Aztecs. Come on now. What do you think it was? It was National Lampoon's European Vacation? Come on. Dating Scraby would be a hit cringe show. No Scraby hate. We hated on Scraby yesterday for his frozen potatoes.
We don't mess with Scraby.
Oh my God.
Scraby's awesome.
Let's get to Jeff in Lakeside. Jeff sounded like he didn't really want to do any bunting of any kind. Jeff, what's going on, man?
You got it. That bunting is no good. Listen, I got a doctorate in statistics from Caltech. I've been studying mathematics since 1979. I've done all sorts of surveys on bunting. And here's what you're going to find. The home team fans, after a one-run loss, will always raise the number of people who want the team to bunt more from about 26.5% up to 78.9%. The visiting team fans go just the opposite direction. 30% of fans typically want more bunting, but if the visiting team wins a game by one run, they'll go down to like 12% of their fans will want more bunting. Bunting is a phantom. Everybody wants more bunting if you lose, less bunting if you win. Just don't bunt. That's my advice to these managers, these ball players, these fans. Don't bunt.
Don't bunt, Jeff in Lakeside says. Don't bunt. He's got the degree from Caltech to prove it.
This has been Equal Time, presented by your sponsor here.
Yes, right. Frank the Rizzler.
Stop with that.
With his
You stop with that, dude. You stop with that.
Jocelyn. Oh, it's so funny. That would be a great sponsor. Frank's Riz. Sponsored by Boar's Head. Sponsored by Boar's Head.
You do realize I have your mic control over here.
I have it too.
I have a fader. You don't.
Dump. It's time to get to the sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what's trending in the sports world that's not Padres and Dodgers?
So what's trending is why I don't people, and that's becoming obvious now. Here we go.
Number 1.
They're in support of you, though, Frank.
Major League Baseball and John Boy Media have announced a strategic partnership on Tuesday that will bring the two sides together to incorporate John Boy Media's experience across various MLB avenues. MLB will utilize John Boy Media's expertise on MLB's digital channels, creative activations around around key Major League Baseball events like the All-Star Game, the Home Run Derby, to help grow John Boy Media's stable of intellectual property, including Talking Baseball, Talking Yanks, and the Warehouse Games. Is this something that Major League Baseball should look to doing more?
Do more,
like getting out as far as like reaching out to social media personalities to try to help grow the game?
I don't know. I feel like they should just have their own social media side of things. The thing with baseball is they're always like late on everything. Like if they would have done this like a couple years ago with John Boy, it probably would have been even better. But like my thing with Major League Baseball and the decisions they make, it's almost like by the time your parents like figure out what the trend is, the trend's dead. You know, like that kind of philosophy. By the time Major League Baseball finds out about the trend, it's over. So I just think it just means it's over now because baseball is like 10 years late on everything.
To be fair, though, the voiceovers still hit.
He hasn't had a good one in a long time. I think the peak voiceover was the fight in Cincinnati with Yasiel Puig and what was that guy's name? The pitcher.
I don't remember.
Who attacked the Pirates bench. That was like the best one in a long time. Like some of them have been kind of like I feel like rushed or whatever. But anyway.
All right.
Number 2.
The Indianapolis Colts announced the details of their team ownership transition yesterday following the death of former owner and CEO Jim Irsay. The succession plan set the groundwork for the Irsay family to retain ownership of the franchise. Irsay's 3 daughters have been in line to step in as owners and top executives. Carly Irsay Gordon, Casey Foyt, and Kaylin Jackson will begin their new roles effective immediately after they held a vice chair / co-owner positions since 2012. Irsay Gordon becomes the Colts' official owner and CEO and serves as the team's principal owner. Good to get this situation done quickly before the season starts.
Yes, it is good. You got to figure out everything starts from the top. You got to get that all squared away so that they're keeping it in the family and moving on with the Colts. So I'm glad they got that all figured out.
We know, especially out here, the importance of settling an ownership squabble quickly.
That's
Number 3.
Athletic directors at Penn State and UCLA have denied that their schools are involved in private equity funding, even as last week's landmark House versus NCAA settlement opened the door for private equity to enter the college sports universe. Pat Kraft of Penn State and Martin Jarmond of UCLA told Yahoo Sports' Ross Dellinger that the partnership with sports consulting firm Elevate does not include private capital. This is in response to a report from Sportico that the Big Ten members became debut partners with Elevate's new $500 million program to fund college athletics departments. If it does turn out that they are, would this be something that they could get into serious trouble over?
Having private equity?
Yeah, having a private equity firm.
Yeah, there's state schools. Having private equity in a state-run college seems like a very bad. Well, having private equity in really anything is really kind of a bad idea. But yes, that sounds like a bad idea.
It doesn't sound good. And once again, for me, it's Penn State being involved.
I did see
Love to see it.
Jake Waters is our resident college football Reddit moderator. And one of the college football Reddit tweets yesterday was about, under the new private equity group, Penn State has decided to buy out Temple from the Link and are going to play all their home games now in Philadelphia. And then it said, this is not actually true, but this would be really cool.
Oh,
really
goody. All right. Really quick, we'll try to get this. The tee times for the U.S. Open have been released. I'm trying to get this up as quickly as I can. I know Scotty Scheffler.
Like that?
Stop it, you.
Say it.
7:29 a.m. is going to be the first big one. Xander Schauffele, Bryson DeChambeau in that trio. Who are you looking most forward to watching in the U.S. Open?
Xander Schauffele, San Diego kid.
Then
Frank will be giving us updates on
7:29 a.m. is your
Pacific time or Eastern time?
Eastern. Yeah, Eastern.
All right, sounds good. Noon hour, lunchtime hour, when we come back on 97.3 The Fan.
city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
Lunchtime hour on the Fan on the Braden Surprenant Show. Noon lunch hour is brought to you by the Craft Taco. Bold flavors at 2 locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. Go check them out. Saw a couple people in the YouTube chat yesterday saying they were going to Craft Taco, so I hope you ended up going over there. It's lunchtime. They're in the Sorrento Valley area. There's a lot of work over there. You can work at Qualcomm over there and cruise on over Sorrento Valley, up the 5 a little bit. West side of the 5 is their location. It's kind of a little hard to get to, but once you get there, you're in a good spot. It's great tacos. Padres fan owns and operates it. Born and raised San Diegan. Great place to get a taco. Great place for lunch. Now, this kind of ultimately encompasses a couple of talking points in the chat that involve Ketchup. We're going to talk about that in the next segment, part of our lunchtime bite down. Is that what we call it? Lunchtime hour bite down. Craft taco hour. But before we do that, because remember, before I left, I teased. This is a long tease. Before I left to Italy, I teased what my friend Crumb puts on his tacos. We'll talk about that in the next segment. Why he should be banned from all Mexican food places for this. In the next hour, in hour number 4, we will be giving away 2 tickets to the Padres-Royals game on June 21st. Celebrate Star Wars weekend with Padres June 20th to the 22nd. Join us for galaxy-sized fun and secure your seats at Padres.com/tickets. So, we will do that in the 1 o'clock hour. Frank Marchese will have a trivia question for that he just learned about right now. Like we did yesterday, same thing. So stay tuned for that in the 1 o'clock hour. All right. Frank and I are going to do this together because we want all of these. Go trade for XYZ, right? Let me ask you this question. The morning show was talking about this. Trading for a left fielder. Michael King is a little bit of a gray area right now with Michael King. In terms of when he comes back, we don't really know too much about Yu Darvish either. Do we have the updates on those?
Give me a second. I can get them.
Are there 2 separate or are they one?
No, it's just one.
Oh, just one. Okay. When Frank has that, we'll get to that to kind of lay out a couple of things here when it comes to the trade deadline. Again, everybody wants a brand new team now because the Padres have been in a long slump offensively. So, what's the latest on the starting pitching situation with Darvish and Michael King? Here's Mike Schill.
What's the latest on what Yu's going to do today? Looks like he's ready for a bullpen.
Yeah, Yu's going to get a bullpen with some ups and downs. So run 15 pitches up and then take a little break and then another 15 or so back up again and see where it goes. It's a good sign, right?
How about Michael? What has he been doing?
Michael's been learning a lot about what he's dealing with our medical staff. Is also on that learning curve of what it is and still continue to gather a lot of information. Rest is the prescription right now. He has played some catch, but nothing too aggressive and consistent. So we're just in a holding pattern to see what it is and the best way to treat it, if there is a better way to treat it outside of just the rest.
And if you could, one more thing on Michael King. You said that you guys are still gathering information on the injury or the recovery?
On the injury itself specifically. It's not something that is historic to our game. It's not something that players have had. I'm not a medical doctor clearly or have any real medical training. So if anybody's CPR, you're in trouble. So, I can't speak the specificity of it. All I know is it's not something historically anything we've dealt with in this game. So we're sure get an education around it.
Do you say if you need CPR, you're in trouble? Don't you have to do CPR training like every 2 years to be a coach? You have to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. That was the latest update. So now there's a little bit of a question mark for the starting pitching. Based on your current starting pitching, no guarantees about Darvish coming back. Again, he continues to just push along. I mean, they told us that he was going to be ready at the end of May. Well, it's June 10th. He's still doesn't think he's ready, and they're going with him, which is fine. I don't mind that. But again, the longer this plays out, the less and less you really buy into whether or not you're going to have Yu Darvish. It's not like a guarantee. The Michael King situation is lasting a lot longer than I initially thought it was potentially going to last. And again, the updates, it doesn't sound like he's very close to be pitching anytime soon. So now you have some question marks a little bit with the starting staff. Now, is that more important at the deadline now? If you only make one trade, are you making the trade for a starting pitcher now, or do you have to focus on left field? I think the answer is still left field. I will take my chances. I know you never have enough pitching. Dodgers won a World Series last year in the playoffs with 2 starting pitchers. They load up on bullpen arms. And if you look at an article on MLB.com today, they talked about players that have improved their stock at the trade deadline. A lot of those players are pitchers that are bullpen guys. You could go get bullpen guys at the deadline. They don't cost a lot. Maybe you load up more on the bullpen instead of a starting pitcher. I just think what you have to do in order to acquire a starting pitcher is way more expensive than going after a left fielder. And you're trying to add as much on the margins as you possibly can. We know left field's a problem. We know catcher's a problem. We understand that you could always use more pitching. But I think the biggest spot you need is left field. I think that has hurt you more games than it has not. You can't be rolling Brandon Lockridge out there every single day. You can't be rolling Gavin Sheets out there in the outfield. And to be honest with you, you really need another right-handed hitter, especially in the DH kind of role as well to face lefties. You could use more right-handed hitting. So, we have come up with kind of the protocol and process of elimination to try to find you a left fielder. It's very vague so far, but this is how you have to. You can't just say, like, go get a left fielder. Who are you going to get? Like, you have to start thinking about it. Like, you can't just, there's not just this magical player that's out there that's going to drastically improve the Padres. Start looking at it. Okay, so when you start looking at potential trade pieces, you really have to start with who's a contender and who's not a contender. Especially, and everybody wants the trigger to be pulled as quickly as possible. You need a left fielder yesterday. Yeah, we understand that. Let's look at the standings right now in Major League Baseball. You need a team that is not competing in 2025 or a team that doesn't believe they're competing for anything in 2025. If you start looking at the standings, I think there's some obvious teams that are not contending. The Colorado Rockies are not contending in 2025. Now, whether or not you want an outfielder in the Colorado Rockies remains to be seen. But if you look at the overall standings, again, I'm going to look at it from a league standing perspective. We'll start with the American League. Detroit's in first, then the Yankees, Astros, Tampa, Toronto, Minnesota. The season ended today. Those are your 6 teams in the postseason in Major League, in the American League. Cleveland's a game out. Kansas City's a game and a half out. Seattle's 2 games out. Angels are 4 games out of a wild card. Red Sox are 4.5. Rangers 4.5. Baltimore's 8.5. Oakland's 10.5, and the White Sox are 13.5. I think the A's and the White Sox are definitely out of it, right? I don't think there's any qualms about that. I think the Athletics have a decent amount of players. I mean, they've been on such a rough stretch in the last couple of weeks. Is Baltimore selling at the deadline? I think they probably are. They fired their manager already. They have all of these players that are backed up in the minor leagues because of the guys in front of them. I don't think Baltimore is ever going to turn it around with the pitching that they have. I would probably consider them one of the teams that is probably going to be trading at the deadline. So that's Chicago. That's the A's. I hate talking about the A's because I have to not say where the city that they're in because they're like, just goes the A's. I seem to be in this situation a lot, Frank, where I have to continually bring up the A's, and I have to say the A's.
But here's the thing, though. We don't work for Major League Baseball.
True. I guess I can call them Sacramento.
So we don't necessarily have to. Like, I've been calling them the Oaklamento A's.
You love that phrase.
The Sacramento A's of Oakland, or just straight up Oakland. So we don't have to really abide by that.
Oaklamento A's is so great, dude. It's so great. Sacramento State. Since he's the new GM of their basketball team, Sacramento State. Anyway, I digress. Chicago, the A's. Baltimore. I don't think I'm on the limb saying that Baltimore's out of it. Frank, agree? Mike Swing.
I would say Baltimore's out of it.
They're out of it. I think they sell. 4 teams are in the gray area. Seattle, the Angels, the Red Sox, and the Rangers. If you're a Mariners fan, do you want your flagship station in Seattle saying sell when you're 2 games out of a wild card spot at 33 and 32?
No.
Probably not. Do you think it will go over well if Seattle sold before the deadline right now, 2 games out of a wild card spot?
No. Absolutely not.
So that's one of the teams that is kind of borderline. Based on Seattle's track record, they could be a seller at the deadline, though. So they're kind of, but contender or pretender, Frank?
Overall, I would probably say pretender for Seattle because this was their division to lose this year, and they're losing it.
They're losing it. Oh, look, Houston's good again. I'm going to say they're more of a contender, but we'll put them in the conversation. Angels. There's no way they're competing, but the Angels are 4 games out of a wild card spot. Now, if the Angels sold guys before the deadline, I don't think their fans would even notice. They're just so hell-bent on the whole, like, I can't believe you still call us L.A. But they're 4 games out of a wild card spot. Red Sox are 4.5 games out of a wild card spot. Rangers, 4.5 games out of a wild card spot. Mariners, Angels, Red Sox, Rangers. How many of those teams are selling? I'd say 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, for this exercise, I'm going to go Mariners, Angels, and the fact that the Padres have already weighed in on Jarren Duran, just for the sake of argument, we'll say the Red Sox are in that group. Although they've been playing a lot better. I don't think the Rangers sell. I don't think they have too much to sell. But anyway, those are the 4 teams. So out of the American League, your teams that are potentially selling at the deadline, the Angels, the Orioles, the Athletics, the White Sox, the Red Sox, and the Mariners. That gives you 6 teams. In the National League, and we'll take a break before we start naming some of these players. Mets are in first. Cubs are 2 games behind them. Dodgers are 2.5 behind the Mets. Philly is 4 games back. Tied with San Francisco. Padres 4.5 back. Had the last wild card spot as of right now. St. Louis 1.5 games back. Milwaukee 3 games back. Cincinnati 4. Arizona 5.5 out of a wild card. Washington 7. Atlanta 9. Pittsburgh 11. Miami 12.5. Rockies are, oh my God, that's 25 games out of a wild card spot. They're 12 and 53. Swept the Marlins ass though.
Do you feel bad yet?
No, I don't feel bad. If it was the Marlins, I'd feel bad. No, I don't. I don't feel bad. I wouldn't feel bad for the Marlins either. The Marlins have been in the World Series. They've won 2 World Series. 12 and 53. Do you want anybody on a team that's 12 and 53?
No.
No. I do not want anybody on a team that's 12 and 53.
Sean Bouchard, maybe.
The vibes. The vibes with Sean Bouchard.
Mickey Moniak, we get pizza from it.
It's true. I don't necessarily know if they make the team. I mean, Sean's going back and forth right now. Rockies are 25. They're out, so they're on the list. Miami, they're out. They're on the list. You knew that going into the season. Pittsburgh is out. They're on the list. They can't even win games that Paul Skeens pitches. Atlanta's interesting because, like, Atlanta's always been a contender. And Atlanta's bought at the deadline being not very good in the past. So, like, they're kind of a wild card. I'm not really sold on Atlanta being a seller yet. Washington, I think, would be. They're not selling him to be young. Arizona seems to be the new hot thing to be a seller. They just lost Corbin Burns for the season. That might be the writing on the wall for them to sell. That would be great news for the Padres. They don't have to worry about Arizona anymore, even though they got to play them this weekend. Oh, no. Here we go. Nope. Okay, camera's
running away from him now.
Camera's down at the segment, I guess. Cincinnati is a wild card, too. I'd lean to them probably selling. So, we've come up with the list of the teams you could trade with. Angels, Orioles, Athletics, White Sox, Red Sox, Mariners, Nationals, Pirates, Marlins, Rockies, Braves, Reds. I don't think the Diamondbacks trade with you anyway, so take them off the list. When we come back, we'll tell you who the outfielders are for all those teams and whether or not any of them make sense. Those are the teams that you can get outfielders from at the trade deadline. We'll tell you who the best option is on the Braden Surprenant Show when we come back on San Diego's #1 Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. $12:22, part of the lunchtime hour on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It's brought to you by Craft Taco. Bold flavors at 2 locations, Serena Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. Do we want to talk about it now or in a little bit? We got to get to the lunchtime stuff here.
I mean, it depends.
We only got like a couple minutes here, so I feel like we get
could.
that done, and then we can go back to the... I am losing the fight with my camera. I don't know what it is. The mustache is probably just making it go.
Too strong.
It's too strong. Mustache game. I couldn't believe the amount of... what's it called?
With words, English.
I can't believe the amount of people that were like super stoked to see that the mustache stayed.
I was surprised. I wouldn't say I was stoked, but I was surprised.
You were surprised that I still had the mustache?
Yeah. Because you said you were shaving it off before you
I
went.
was going to, and then I trimmed it, and then I was like, well, I am going to Italy. If there's any place in the world to have a mustache, it's Italy.
Oh boy.
Peter, just because you have a mustache doesn't make you Italian. My initial thoughts on that. But anyway, like a lot of people liked it, so I was like, okay, let's just keep it on. But if the Padres, you know what? Maybe it will flip the momentum a little bit, you know? Let's shave it off. I learned that it's not going to grow back. It grows back pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Curl it for TCU, North Carolina. Yeah, that'd be dope. Anyway, before I went on the trip, we talked about my buddy Crumb. He eats like a child, right? Like he only eats at like 5 places.
Mm-hmm.
He posted this on his, when we talked about it, he posted the clip on his Facebook. So it was like, you know, he eats at Carl Strauss. He gets the mac and cheese at Carl Strauss. He goes In and Out, which we went to last night. He goes to BJ's to get Bazookies. And there's one over there I'm blanking on right now, but he eats like a child. He's 40 years old. He eats like a kid. Nothing wrong with that. You know what? Embrace your inner child sometimes when it comes to food. I got Frank eating chicken nuggets from Taco Bell.
Shut up, man.
It's good stuff. Surprised that wasn't your picnic yesterday.
No, that was not at the picnic.
And in doing so, we explain how he eats like a child. It's a little picky. And so he posts it. And then in the comments, they go, you didn't mention what you put on your tacos?
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh, God, what could this possibly be?
Oh, no.
I have physical evidence, this person says, about what Crumb puts on his tacos. I look at the picture. Brother should be banned from every Mexican food restaurant from here to wherever. Even bad ones in the Midwest should never tolerate this kind of behavior of putting this on a taco. And I said at the beginning part of this hour, the full circle moment we've had. Because one Ruiz in the chat asked me if I tried carbonara with ketchup. That's disgusting. And I said no. And I saw his comment yesterday, and I ignored it because it made me want to vomit. And he goes, I was in a real Italian restaurant in San Francisco and saw a lady douse her carbonara in ketchup. It was insane. That doesn't mean you do it. Where am I going with this? Well, Crumb puts ketchup on his carne asada tacos. What are you doing? I saw the comments. I was like, this is insane. I can't believe it. I looked at the picture. He got a ketchup packet. His taco, by the way, it's like plain. Tortilla, carne asada, ketchup. What? That's disgusting. I know it's just it's like flank steak. It's just beef, whatever. I'm not against ketchup in certain entities. Ketchup is a fine condiment. I don't use it a lot. I understand the East Coast, have ketchup with your eggs. But ketchup on a carne asada taco, I'd be like, get the blank out. Just get out.
Yeah.
You're not welcome here. In the comments, it said you should have seen the lady's face when Crumb asked for ketchup for his taco. She was like, what?
Yeah. Look, I'm a picky eater also.
You are.
But at least I know there are rules. There are lines you don't cross.
There are rules, man.
I know that there are lines you don't cross. That's a line. That's a line you don't cross. There's no rationalizing your way out of that.
Ketchup on a carne asada taco means you should never be allowed to consume Mexican food ever again.
Fair.
There's a lot of people cringing right now on that.
Yeah, you think?
Now, if any of you driving around immediately thought, I should try that, we got to help you, dude. We got to, don't.
Who hurt you?
Who hurt you, exactly. If you're interested in the idea of potentially putting ketchup on your carne asada taco, I don't know where to help you at. There's programs for that. It reminds me of, you know who Mitch Hedberg is or where he was?
No.
He's a comedian who passed away a long time ago now, but he had a thing on sandwiches. Oh, you'd love it, Frank.
Okay.
And he was, it's Liberty's game, but he would talk about sandwiches. And he was like, I order the club sandwich, even though I'm not a member.
Oh, God.
I don't know how they determine that.
That is my kind of humor right there, though.
And he went in, dude. He was like, the other day I tried to order a sandwich at the deli. And they asked me, what kind of sandwich you want? I said pastrami. What kind of cheese? Cottage. What kind of bread? Banana. And the deli's like, get the blank out. I'm not serving you a pastrami, cottage cheese, banana bread sandwich. Ketchup on the tacos, dude. That's bad.
That's, again, I know there are rules. I know that there are lines you don't cross.
What other lines? What other food lines you got?
Like the ketchup on pasta as well. That's another one. That's
People do that?
Straight line you don't cross.
Who puts ketchup on pasta?
I have no idea because I don't want to know them. I know, as far as you having just gone from Italy, I know surf and turf isn't a thing. You don't mix food from the land and the sea in one meal.
Why not?
That's just an Italian food rule.
Well, yeah. Well, their steaks aren't very good. I will say that. Their food's great. The steaks aren't. But you know what? Let the Americans cook the steaks.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying. Crumb needs to go to Ketchup Anonymous. You might have to. Juan Ruiz, which one is worse? Putting ketchup in carbonara or on tacos? If you had to do one of them, you have to do one.
Equal.
You have to do one. Are you eating carbonara with ketchup or are you eating a carne asada taco with nothing but ketchup? You have to eat one of them. You have to pick. I'm trying to think this through. If I mix the ketchup with the carbonara, how much is it going to impact the taste? I feel like significant. It's going to give it a weird taste to it.
I would say the carbonara is better because tomato sauce. You're having it with tomato sauce and ketchup. If you want to really like warp your mind, is
It's like a sugary sauce.
Yeah, it is
sugary.
It is a tomato sauce.
It's almost making like a pink sauce with your carbonara.
Yeah, I'd say the taco's worse.
The tacos might be worse because you're just eating, but it's just meat and ketchup.
Well, I mean, as far as worse tasting or worse crime.
No, worse like you have to eat one of them. Which one do you not want to eat?
Oh, worst. Oh,
ketchup and carbonara or ketchup on carne asada tacos?
I would rather have the ketchup and carbonara, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll take the taco. Dude, putting ketchup and carbonara. You got like pork in there and stuff too, man. Like it's just
okay. Like
you're gonna get a chunk of like pork cheek with ketchup in it. No thanks.
Just the worst choices we have on this show.
What do I think about this? My buddy Nicky P, who actually just texted me. I don't know what he said, but his dad is way older than he is. He's like old school, super old.
Mm-hmm.
His dad puts lemons in Dr. Pepper, and so now Nicky does that.
Yeah,
that sounds intriguing.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't mind that. There's a couple other things that he used to do too with the, and I forget what he said, but the ketchup on the tacos. Man.
Coke used to make like lime infused Coke. Pepsi did Pepsi with lemon.
My brother ordered Coke. They don't have Diet Coke in Italy.
Oh, really?
They only have Coke Zero. And every time my brother ordered a Coke Zero, it came with a lime.
Yeah, that's a thing.
It blends.
Yeah, those are things.
Rod says it'd be too traumatizing for him to have a taco with ketchup on it. I think that's me with the carbonara. It'd be too traumatizing.
I mean, again, for me, I would just go with what I'm more comfortable with.
True. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We need a contestant for today's Midday Sports Standoff. If you could take me down some sports trivia today, you will be entered for a chance to win our grand prize, which is a celebrating of summer with a spa and pool getaway at Resorts World Las Vegas, home of the largest elevated pool complex on the Strip. You'll receive a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas. Dine poolside at one of the 5 unique pool experiences and experience the ultimate in relaxation and wellness at Awana Spa, one of the largest co-ed spa facilities in Las Vegas. To book your summer stay, please visit rwlasvegas.com. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we also come back, we will let you know who the outfielders are that are available potentially via trade for the Padres at the deadline. All coming up next on the Braden Surprenant Show on San Antonio Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 12:40. Finishing up the lunchtime hour. Sponsored by the Craft Taco. Bold flavors at 2 locations, Sereno Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. Braden Surprenant Show alongside Frank Marchese. Had an interesting topic about ketchup on tacos. Yeah. We'll talk more about the outfield situation, and we'll play the Midday Sports Standoff coming up in just a little bit. Get back to the phones, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Eric at Chula Vista on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, man?
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
Doing well.
As always, love the diversity on the show, man. It's great. I listen to you every day. You do a great job, Braden.
Appreciate that, Eric. Thank you very much.
Hey, so you guys talk about the where you draw the line when it comes to like certain foods.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but you really can't, because like a majority of the people that I know, like calamari, I can't stand it. So I mean, there's certain things. As far as the ketchup goes, albeit I was 12 and 13 years old, but I used to put ketchup on my tacos when I was a kid. I mean, of course, those were...
That's when you're a 12 or 13-year-old kid. This is a 40-year-old man.
And well, I mean, that's what I was saying. I've become older and a little bit more wiser, and the stomach is a little bit stronger, so now I can handle a little bit of salsa. But, you know, I always figured when I was a kid, why put tomatoes on your tacos that fall all over the place when you can just squeeze on some ketchup and you're all good, you know?
Squeeze on some ketchup. It's got a little sweet flavor to it. Okay, Eric. Okay. Yeah, when I was 12 or 13, I put ketchup on my tacos. Brother, he's 40. The guy's 40. I'm a man. I'm 40. Mike Crum ordering tacos. Ketchup on them. That'd be a great meme. I'd tell you that. Ketchup on a taco, dude. That's insane, bro. That's insane. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to talk about this briefly, and then we're going to get back to it in the 1 o'clock hour. Looking for a left fielder for the Padres, right? Want to make a trade. Got to find somebody to trade with. We determined that the Angels, Orioles, Athletics, White Sox, Red Sox, Mariners might all be trade deadline candidates to sell. Nationals, Pirates, Marlins, Rockies, Braves, and Reds. Diamondbacks we leave off the list because we don't think the Padres would make a deal with the Diamondbacks, a.k.a. the Diamondbacks would make a deal with the Padres. You never know. And then we left the Rangers off the list too. I just don't know if they're going to sell or not. The only reason I left the Red Sox on the list is because of the whole Jarren Duran story that we had last week. Now, those teams, when taking all of those teams and then selecting all the players that have played in the outfield for those teams, you get 41 players. So 41 players, you do the process of elimination to find a fit for left field. You have 41 options right now based on teams that are not going to be contending, that will probably be selling at the deadline. Not to say you can't get a player off a contender if you go like a little bit of a trade of, you know, strength for strength. It's just very rare, right? So there's 41 of those players. We have ranked all of these players based on WRC plus for only qualifying players. So out of the players on the list, these 41 players qualify for the minimum amount of plate appearances. They have to have at least 90 plate appearances in order to qualify in this particular list. The highest player on the list is Miguel Andujar of the Athletics with a 144 WRC plus. Ramon Laureano out of Baltimore. O'Neal Cruz out of Pittsburgh. They're not trading him. Lawrence Butler for the Athletics. This is, again, in order of WRC plus. Now, anybody that has less than 100 of a WRC plus probably isn't worth trading for at the trade deadline. This is weighted runs created plus. An average baseball player gets a 100 on this mark. If you're over that mark, you are 44% better than an average player if you're 144 on the list. Miguel Andujar has a 144 WRC plus. These players that I list, because I'm not going to list all 41 of them because we got to get to the midday sports standoff. These are only the players that are above average on weighted runs created plus. And this is in order. Miguel Andujar, Ramon Laureano, O'Neal Cruz, Lawrence Butler, James Wood, Kyle Stowers, Wilyer Abreu, Alex Call, Randy Arozarena, TJ Friedel, Joe Adell. I find it odd that Joe Adell's got a higher WRC plus than Taylor Ward, but here we are. Cedric Mullins, Jesus Sanchez, Dane Myers, Julio Rodriguez, they ain't trading him, Jordan Beck, Jake Fraley, Jaron Duran, Gavin Lux. Those are all the players that have a weighted runs created plus of 100 or better. Players just below that, Taylor Ward at 98, Brian Reynolds at 98. Ceddanne Raffaello of Boston is at 91. Eli White, Andrew Benintendi, J.J. Bleday. Bleday's got an 85 weighted runs created plus, which means he is, was that 15% worse than an average baseball player in Major League Baseball in that category. Tyler Soderstrom, Michael A. Taylor, Joshua Palacios, Alex Verdugo, Dylan Cruz. That's your top 30 of that list. Those are your options right now. So, what do you guys think? Cedric Mullins kind of jumps out to me, being on the Orioles. He has a 115 WRC plus. I've seen the Padres be linked to him before in the past. You could talk about a guy like Taylor Ward. He strikes out a ton. I'm surprised his WRC plus is only a 98. That's kind of shocking to me. It's even more shocking to me that Joe Adell has a higher WRC plus than Taylor Ward. And Taylor Ward hits tons of home runs. Randy Arozarena is interesting if the Seattle Mariners want to potentially trade. But again, those are just the names. We'll break it down further in the 1 o'clock hour when it comes to contracts and who might be available and which you can trade with. I don't think a lot of those players cost you a lot of prospect capital. Some of them are not even going to be traded. I mean, we can start crossing names off the list. We'll do that in the 1 o'clock hour. But it's time to get to the Midday Sports Standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, he's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, I've done this in a while. Frank, who we got on today?
Of AJ in Vista. AJ, how you doing today, bud?
Doing good.
All right, so today's topic is another one with an odd number of answers, and I think this one could be an easy one. So AJ, you have the advantage here. There are 7 teams in the National Hockey League that play in Canada. We have to name all 7. All right, so AJ, you got it?
Yep.
All righty, you again have the first pick. Who? Go ahead, make your first pick. Sorry.
The Canucks.
Try to get to the button. Yes, like I said, this is probably going to be a race to 7 here.
Toronto. Maple Leafs.
AJ.
The Canadiens.
The Montreal Canadiens. Ottawa Senators.
All right, 2 left. AJ, if you get this right, you guarantee yourself at least a tie. Sorry, 3 more left.
Holy cow. I'm drawing such a blank right now. Canadiens, Maple Leafs. Flames, Calgary Flames.
All right, so you've guaranteed yourself at least a tie. Braden?
Edmonton Oilers, who are in the Stanley Cup final.
And there is 1 more.
I'm not going to get it. Total blank.
Winnipeg. The Jets.
Yeah, Winnipeg.
Jets, 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 Jets.
Well, Yeah,
Did we tie?
unfortunately. No,
I won?
that's yep. Braden, you won it.
Jets, Jets. Fireman Eddie still out there? Fireman Ed. Sorry, AJ. Been studying up on my NHL during the Italian break. I'm on the Italian Riviera just reading trivia books. It's so dumb. That was our question probably for yesterday, I would imagine.
Yes, it was.
In honor of Edmonton being in the Stanley Cup final?
Yes, and also in honor of that was a fairly quick topic to think of.
I had one the other day.
You did have one the other day.
But like now I know what it is, so like it's hard to do. But I kind of want to bring it. We have some time here. Can you name me?
Braden.
Oh, maybe this should be our trivia question.
Okay.
How many do they have to get correct? There's 14 of them.
Oh, good Lord.
You need to get all 14. I mean, like 2, 3?
Yeah, we'll say 2.
2. There are 14 MLB teams to never relocate.
Okay.
Name me 2 of them. First one to call in and name 2 of those will win tickets to the Padres Royals game June 21st.
So Saturday.
Saturday,
Saturday's game.
June 21st, where you celebrate Star Wars weekend with the Padres, June 20th and the 22nd. Join us for galaxy-sized fun, secure seats at Padres.com/tickets. 14 MLB teams to never relocate. Name 2 of them.
For those of you who just called in, just hang on the line. We'll do that during the break. By the way, as far as speaking of the game tonight, we know Dylan Cease is going for the Padres. The Dodgers still have not announced who their starting pitcher is. Again, this was Landon Knack's spot in the rotation last time around. But we do not know officially who the starter will be for the Dodgers.
Curious. Dylan Cease versus a Dodgers bullpen game at Petco Park. What could possibly go wrong?
Don't do that.
Where have I seen this
Don't
episode
don't
before?
don't do the bad juju
Where
right
have
now.
I seen
Come
this episode before? I'm just saying. Get the revenge. Game 2. We had enough dooming in the first hour. Although the first hour is kind of fun.
Sarcasm hour is always good.
The sarcasm hour. People were buying into it. People here were buying into it.
Yes.
We had to quickly get into the reality hour of hour number 2. Hour number 3 was the don't do this on food hour, mixed in with here are your potential options for left field at the trade deadline currently.
Hour number 3 is going to be fun. Hour number 4
We
is
already
gonna be
finished
fun.
hour number 3. If I have 2 more hours to go, I don't know. We're going to have a whole hour on Frank's Riz.
No, we're not going to do that.
Well, that's what it doesn't exist. It's at 2 o'clock. I said if I have to do another hour after that, that's what we're going with. We're going to do that instead.
Hour number 4 is going to be a good hour.
Yes.
These shows have been going quick since these last couple of days here.
Somebody in the chat, new stadium or new city, never relocated their city.
Yeah, never
packed up and left. 16 MLB teams have packed up and physically moved.
Yeah, like the Colts, we'll say, to not give away one of our baseball answers.
Correct. Now, there could be cities that have had teams before that have left and then have started a new team that's brand new. That's not a team that has moved. Correct. 14 MLB teams to never relocate. Call in and give me 2 of them.
We got our lines full
tickets.
right now. They are eagerly waiting for 12:55:15 for me to start picking these answers up.
Somebody goes, what is Luis Roberts' WRC plus? Because he's not on that list. He's not having good numbers this year, but he would be like a hope and a prayer. He actually, out of all those players, has the 6th worst WRC plus out of the group. It's 62.
If you trade for Luis Robert, you are hoping that he is on a bad team, and because he is on a bad team, he is not trying. That's what you're hoping for if you trade
Correct.
for Luis Robert.
You'd be trading on his track record more than like what he's doing this year.
Yes.
You could do it if you want, but it'd be kind of a big hope. I mean, he's not having a great season. 62 WRC plus. 833-288-0973. When we come back, talk more about what the Padres do in left field at the trade deadline. Braden Surprenant Show. 1 o'clock on the Braden Surprenant Show, leading you up to Gwen and Chris before Sam Levitt takes over on the Eco Water SoCal Padres pregame show, leading to Padres and Dodgers. Game 2 of a 3-game series starts tonight at 6:40. Dylan Cease starting for San Diego. TBD for the Dodgers. Have you seen anything yet, Frank? Have they announced anybody yet?
Not that I've seen.
Sick. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens there. Now, who was our winner?
I knew you were going to ask me. I believe it was David Investa, I believe was our winner. Yes? No?
Sure.
Maybe. I know it was Investa. I know that. Hold on, let me get back to it. So I should know this by now, that you're going to ask me these questions and I should be more prepared for them. But I'm not, because I'm a genius. Mark Invista. Mark Invista was our winner.
Congratulations, Mark. Now, the question of the trivia question was, who are the 14 MLB teams that never relocate? Do you want to take a guess?
I would love to. The two that Mark mentioned, the San Diego Padres and Seattle Mariners.
Correct. Neither of them have left.
Mets and Yankees?
The Mets have never relocated.
The Yankees
have relocated.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They came from like Baltimore or something.
Arizona hasn't.
Arizona has not.
Colorado hasn't.
Colorado has not.
I don't think the Astros have.
Astros have not relocated.
Texas Rangers?
Rangers have.
Okay.
They came from like DC or something.
Tampa?
Tampa has not.
Miami?
Miami has not.
I want to say the Phillies.
Phillies have not.
Yeah. Cubs?
Cubs have.
Really?
According to my list. I had a graphic. It was saved as a bookmark. I don't know if I unbookmarked it. And I did.
Pirates?
The Buccos. Pirates have been relocated.
Okay. How many more do I have?
Okay, so you said Mariners and Padres, Diamondbacks, Rockies, correct? Phillies, Mets, Astros,
Marlins,
Rays. So you're missing 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 that you're missing.
Toronto
has never relocated.
Kansas City.
Kansas City has never relocated.
Detroit
has never relocated.
So 2 more.
You got 2 more.
Boy, oh boy.
One is
Cincinnati.
The Reds have. Where are the Reds? The Reds have not relocated.
I want to say Boston, but that feels wrong.
Boston!
Okay.
Did you say Detroit?
I did say Detroit, yes.
Yes, Detroit too. So if I look at I pulled up the map here. Angels. Did you say the Angels?
No.
Angels have never relocated either. So it might be one extra. Angels, Padres, Diamondbacks, Rockies, Royals, Texas, Houston, Tampa, Miami, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Cincinnati, Boston, Toronto. Those are the teams. Philly. Those are the teams that have never relocated. Interesting, to say the least.
Pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah, teams that have relocated. Because like some of them too, like Seattle. Like Seattle had this. Seattle, was it the Pilots or something?
Yeah, it was the Pilots, which I think are the Twins now, right?
They became Milwaukee. The
yes.
Pilots.
Yes.
They became Milwaukee. Milwaukee's had 3 different teams. All of them have relocated.
The Braves have moved multiple times. The Oakland's moved a couple times.
What was the team that you were like questioning whether or not they've moved, and I said they did or something. Oh, Chicago.
Yeah, the Cubs.
Yeah, the Cubs. No, the Cubs have been there the whole time, so you were right. So it's actually 16 teams have not ever relocated.
So we're just wrong. Is it?
No, 16 of the whatever. I was missing Chicago because on the map, like it's connected to the White Sox.
Oh, okay.
And so it says the White Sox moved, but the Cubs haven't moved. The White Sox came from St. Paul. And then the other one was Cincinnati. You can't even see it on the map. It's like hidden over all of these other teams going across them. But yes.
Yeah, because it's the newer teams, you kind of figure they haven't moved.
Right.
And then it's which one of the mainstays, like that's where the Cincinnati Red Stockings or Red Legs or whatever they were come in.
Like Kansas City's had 3 different organizations there.
Yeah, that one I would not have gotten. Well, that one. Well,
You did get that one. You got the Royals have never moved. Phillies had 2 different organizations. Baltimore's had 2 organizations.
Never mind.
You had the Royals.
Yeah,
Royals
yeah.
moved, but they've had 3 different organizations there. DC's had 3 different organizations. That's where the Rangers came from DC, as well as.
Are they the old Senators?
They're the old Senators. Well, they're the second Senators.
Okay.
The first Senators are the Twins.
Gotcha.
So there's that.
History.
Cool. All right.
I think it's left field time.
Left fielders. You got the contracts ready to go?
I can, yes, at a moment's notice here.
And whether or not some of these guys end up being available.
Got it. Hit me.
Miguel Andujar.
Let's see here.
For the Athletics. He's got the best WRC plus. He has the small. He just barely qualifies though.
Miguel Andujar,
93 plate appearances. I'm not interested.
Avoided arbitration. He is on the injured list right now, and he is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year.
There's a rental for you. Injury problems. Cross him off the list. Ramon Laureano, Baltimore. That's actually one that might be flipped somewhere. Is he on the injured list? Because he only has 107.
I don't
plate
think
appearances.
so. I think he just came off.
Still kind of a small sample size then.
He is right now $4 million. He has a $6.5 million club option next year. He's a free agent after that.
We'll keep him on the list. O'Neal Cruz, they won't trade him.
No, he just re-signed with them.
He ain't getting traded. So we're going to cross him off the list. Lawrence Butler, Athletic. 282 plate appearances as a 125 WRC plus.
He's one of their young projects. I don't see them trading him
I don't see
at
that
all.
Either.
Yeah, no, he
794.
They just signed him. They just bought out all of his arbitration years. He has a club option for $20 million in 32, and then he's a free agent in 33.
Cross him off the list. James Wood. Don't even look at it. Don't even look at it.
I wonder what team traded. Never mind. I'll stop that bit right there.
Yeah, please stop. Cross him off the list. James Wood. Next, again, going in order of WRC plus this season. Kyle Stowers. Interesting. Christian high school product. San Diego boy. Kyle Stowers this year, 228 plate appearances as a 121 WRC plus.
Kyle Stowers.
802 OPS. 357 batting average with balls in play. He's got to be young. He's got to be controllable, I would imagine.
Kyle Stowers right now, 27 years of age, has pre-ARB next year and then ARB 1 in 27. So you're buying effectively 4 years of control on him.
Right, and he's in his prime right now.
Yes.
At 27 years old. Is he part of the Marlins' plans long term? Are the Marlins going to compete?
That's bold of you to assume the Marlins have a plan.
Are the Marlins going to be competing for a World Series or a division the next 3 years?
No.
Then he ain't part of their plan. Leave him on the list. Wilyer Abreu, Boston Red Sox, 224 plate appearances.
He might become available with, I think he actually just went on the IL too.
What's his contract?
Oh, let me see. Yep. Yeah, he did just go on the IL. He's in pre-ARB also. 26 years of age. So again, you're going to be buying 4 years.
I don't think they trade him.
No.
Cross him off. Alex Call.
Washington, yes.
Washington, yes.
He would be a solid pickup, but he's not a guy I would consider an everyday player. He is as well in pre-arb. He is 30, though.
He's pre-arb and 30?
Yes.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, he's got he's got 4 years of arbitration left on him.
Alex Call, 763 OPS. Okay. Randy Arozarena, 120 WRC plus. Are we crossing Call off the list?
Yeah, I would say.
I would say so too.
Arozarena right now is in Super 2 arbitration. He has arbitration next year, and then he's a free agent in 27. I do find it hard to believe that the Mariners would trade him the year after they got him at the deadline.
Well, you never know. If they don't think they can afford him, if they want to blow things up. How much money is he making?
11.3 this year. So it'll be probably
just less than
13, 14 next year.
I'm going to leave him on the list. TJ Friedel, Cincinnati, 119 WRC plus.
TJ Friedel going
276 plate appearances.
TJ Friedel is in pre-arb.
How old is he?
29. He's got 1, 2, and 3 arb in the next 3 years.
That's not bad. Unless Cincinnati really wants to keep him. Now, he does play in a bandbox.
Yes.
That ain't Petco Park, dude. But leave him on the list. Joe Adell. No thanks. 117 WRC plus, though. How old's Joe Adell?
Oh, we are. I thought you said no thanks. All right. Joe Adell, 26. He's in ARB 1.
He's only 26 still?
Yep. He is in ARB 1, making 2.1. So you'd be buying 2 years of control on him.
I think the Angels give up on Joe Adell now. He's finally starting to play.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Cedric Mullins.
It's a Boris guy, too. That's fun.
Cedric Mullins, I think, is a lot of people that
Cedric
a lot of
Mullins.
Padres fans want to see him in a Padres uniform. Cedric Mullins, 115.
Oh, you mean the Cedric Mullins who's currently on the IL?
Yes.
He is in ARB 3. He's a free agent at the end of the year.
That's why he's available. I could see the Orioles trading him. 115 WRC plus, 212 plate appearances. Slug 752. He's an all-star a couple years ago, 435 slug. I think that's a good option. Jesus Sanchez of Miami. He's only had 174 plate appearances.
He really ingratiated himself with the San Diego fans as well.
Yeah, he's our boy, huh?
He is in Super 2 arbitration, 27 years old, making $4.5 million. So he has ARB 3 and 4 upcoming.
Okay. I'll leave him on there. Dane Myers, 112 plate appearances.
Also from Miami.
Yes. 387 batting average on balls in play, 762 OPS, 114.
29 years old. He is also in pre-arb. He's got 2 years of pre-arbitration left, and then he's got the 3 years of arbitration.
I don't know how I feel about Dane Myers. Do you think Dane Myers
He's
move you?
29 years old. And in his first year of pre-arb.
I don't see the Padres trading for Dane Myers.
No, especially when you lose control of him at the ripe young age of 35.
Yeah, no, thank you. Julio Rodriguez is not getting traded.
Yeah, no. They just signed him.
Yes, exactly. Jordan Beck, Colorado. That is the highest ranked Colorado outfielder. 205 plate appearances, 113 OPS plus.
Well, good luck to you.
817 OPS.
24 years old. He's in his first year of pre-arb. Just came up. He has 0.145 years of major league service.
On a bad team.
So
crossing
you
him off the
have
list.
full control over him.
I don't think Colorado trades him.
No.
Not in the division. Jake Fraley, Cincinnati Red. 112 OPS plus.
Let's see. Jacob Fraley. There he is. He is in ARB 2. ARB3 next year, unrestricted free agent 27. He's 30 years old right now, $3.125 million this year.
Not the worst. Jaron Duran, 324, the most plate appearances at anybody on this list. 106 WRC plus. Padres have already talked about him. 327 on base percentage, a 424 slug, 751 OPS. Southern California kid with the Long Beach State. If the Red Sox are trading at the deadline.
Jaron Duran, 28 years old. He is in Super 2. There's an $8 million club option on him for next year, and then he's got ARBs 3 and 4 before he's an unrestricted free agent at 32 years old in 29.
I like Jaron Duran.
Making 3.75 this year.
I just don't. The Red Sox continue to win. It's going to be harder to pull him away. Gavin Lux. Oh, man.
The question is, when it comes to guys like Rafaela and Abreu with Boston, you have Roman Anthony that just came up. They have a lot. That youth movement is in full swing, so somebody might become available. Gavin Lux is in ARB 2 this year. He'll be 28 next year.
I don't really want Gavin Lux.
I don't either.
I'm not even going to entertain it. Strike. Taylor Ward. His is affordable too, isn't he?
I believe so.
I can't believe his WRC plus is less than 100.
Taylor Ward is in year 3 of Super 2 arbitration, which means he's got one more year left on him. 31 years old. He's at $7.825 million this year.
Which means that's going to be down to like $2 or $3 million by the time you pick him up on the prorated salary.
Yeah.
Brian Reynolds.
They just signed him, did they not?
They did, but he might want out anyway. They're a mess, dude. But like he's getting paid
Brian Reynolds
amount of money, isn't he?
Brian Reynolds had ARB 4 bypassed. He's making $12.25 million this year. 14-2, 15-2, 15-2, 15-2,
no, thank
15-2,
you.
and
No,
then
thank
20.
You. No, thank you.
In 31 when he's 36. That's a club option.
Crossing off. Okay, so out of the players that are all WRC, here's your list that you got. Ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Out of teams that are not contending, and we have picked a handful. All the left fielders that have at least a 100 WRC plus, which would be a major improvement for the San Diego Padres, that fit in terms of contract. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players available.
So that pool of 40 has been dwindled down to a quarter.
41 has been down to 9. Now, Luis Robert Jr. is not on this list because his WRC plus is terrible, but you could take a chance on him and hope things work out. But if you want more of a guarantee, this is more of a guarantee.
You do have one option that's no longer on the table. The Mets signed Travis Jankowski today to a minor league deal.
Hunter Renfroe is still available. Here are the 9 players when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. It's hour 97 to the fans, brought to you by Frozen Ropes. San Diego, hey parents, here's a message from Coach Kurt with Frozen Ropes. Is your child 6 to 12 years old? Our baseball summer league is the perfect fit for your player starting June 16th through August 17th. Summer league includes 8 practices, 8 games. Go to SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com. That's SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com. We're getting slimmer and slimmer on these choices for a potential left fielder. Again, it's easy just to say, go get a left fielder. They need one yesterday. Well, the only way you're going to be able to get a left fielder before the trade deadline is by trading with a team that's completely out of contention already. Angels are still relatively in contention. They're 4 games out. Orioles, A's, and White Sox are all double digits out of a wild card spot. Nationals, Pirates, Marlins, and Rockies are all most likely not competing in 2025. Maybes are the Red Sox, the Rangers, the Mariners, Braves, Reds, Diamondbacks, and who knows what goes on between now and the end of July in terms of the standings if another team might become a seller. I'm not even convinced that the Red Sox, Rangers, Mariners, Braves, Reds, Diamondbacks are part of the list at all. We started to eliminate players on this list, so we cast the wide net. And we had those teams. And then from those teams, we decided to grab anybody that played in the outfield. Not just left field, but just anybody that played in the outfield this season for those teams with a minimum of at least 90 plate appearances. From that, we decided, in terms of the Padres and trying to create run value, that's what you need at your left fielder, to sort everything based on WRC plus this season for those players. So there's 41 of those players that could be possibly available. We then eliminated almost half the field for those players that were at least 98 or better because Taylor Ward was a 98 WRC plus.
3/4 of that field we eliminated.
Yes. So then from there, we went through and started to cross off all the players that had those big contracts that are not going to be traded. O'Neal Cruz, gone. James Wood, not getting traded. Joe Adell, Julio Rodriguez, Jordan Beck, Gavin Lux, Brian Reynolds. I mean, these are just players that are probably not going to get traded from the teams that they're on. Miguel Andujar only has 93 plate appearances on the injured list. That left us with 9 names. Now, would you say that the Padres have currently an issue with right-handed hitters? As in they don't have enough?
With the way this lineup's performed, they have an issue with
all
hitters. But yes, right-handed hitters, especially in the DH spot, have been a problem. Yes,
so you kind of need a right-handed hitter too. So if you take our 9 and eliminate the lefties, you're down to 3. Ramon Laureano, Randy Arozarena, Taylor Ward. We're not even convinced that the Seattle Mariners would trade Randy Arozarena. The entire 9-player list, Ramon Laureano, and this is in the order of WRC plus. Weighted, runs created, plus. If you have that statistical category as 100, you're an average baseball player. All of these players have 100 or better with the exception of Taylor Ward on this list. He's 2% worse than an average baseball player. Now, if you think that's better than what the Padres have, which it might, I don't know if saying might. It probably is. Then you would take a guy like Taylor Ward. But again, in the order, Ramon Laureano of Baltimore, Kyle Stowers of Miami, Randy Arozarena of Seattle, TJ Friedel, Cedric Mullins, Jesus Sanchez, Jake Fraley, Jaron Duran, Taylor Ward. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are your 9 players potentially available for the Padres. That makes sense. You start filtering it through. Now, that being
full
said,
lineup.
Well, that's true. That being said, AJ probably does a pretty good job of finding other players that you didn't even know were available. But those are your 9 players. Somebody goes, is Tommy Pham on that list? Tommy Pham Jesus, is the worst player, according to WRC Plus, out of all the outfielders on the teams we mentioned. He is the worst. So, theoretically, he's not on the list. People ask, why isn't Luis Robert Jr. on that list? Now, Luis Robert Jr. this year is not doing very well offensively. He's got a 62 weighted runs created plus. If you trade for a guy like Luis Robert Jr., you are taking a major risk that you can get him back to what he was before this season. You're not trading for a bat that's hot currently. But if you're talking about offensively, again, WRC plus, weighted runs created plus, those are your 9 players. Ramon Laureano, Kyle Stowers, Randy Arozarena, TJ Frito, Cedric Mullins, Jesus Sanchez, Jake Fraley, Jaron Duran, Taylor Ward. Out of that group, Frank, who are you trading for?
Randy Arozarena is the obvious choice there, but it would be way too much money. Not way too much money, way too much cost, I think. Because again, Seattle just got him last year. I would be looking at a guy like TJ Friedl. I would be looking at
I'm looking at rentals, more likely than not.
Yeah.
Or players that are abundant in terms of position. So to me,
Guys,
oh no, what happened?
No, just the chat. Ward hits nukes. Ward's the option. It's not just home runs, guys. This is not a power hitter's haven in this ballpark. This is a gap hitter's ballpark. The ball does not fly out of here to conduce guys hitting 50 home runs a year. This is stop. Home runs are not the only stat that you need to focus on when it comes to an offensive player.
Anthony Sandoval's got a great troll job. Why wouldn't we just trade Xander and DeVries for the Mets for Soto?
Go for it.
And New York would be fools not to take it.
Go for it.
He's trolling. It's funny. Like Ward too much. I mean, I get it. Like he hits home runs, but if he's not hitting a lot, does it really matter?
I'm seeing Adolis Garcia. Can you look up? I'll look up his contract here. I think Adolis Garcia is on the IL. Was he not?
He might be.
Oh, he was at some point this year. He's not now, at least from Spotrac. $10.5 million this year. He'll be an ARB3 next year.
Has Ryan O'Hearn played outfield at all this year?
I don't think he has. I think he's been their first baseman.
Yeah. I mean, you could trade for him if you wanted to. You still don't have you don't have an answer in the outfield, which you need.
Oh, Ryan O'Hearn's a DH.
Right. Well, you do need a right-handed hitting DH.
They picked up his club. He's a free. Why again? Why would you trade for him right now when he's going to be a free agent next year?
Oh, O'Hearn?
Yeah, he's a free agent next year.
Well, I'd trade for a rental. If you made a trade, well, what about this?
I don't think a guy like Ryan. What's O'Hearn's numbers this year, stat wise?
I don't have them.
Obviously. Oh, here we go. I got it.
Look him up.
51 games. He's hitting. Oh well, he's hitting 326, 9 homers, 23 RBIs.
Here's what you do.
181 at bats.
The problem is the Padres don't have too much pitching available, but Cedric Mullins is a free agent at the end of the year. Ryan O'Hearn is a free agent at the end of the year. Baltimore has all these players backed up.
Yeah, no,
that don't have a playing spot. So
you could package that. Yeah.
If you made a package deal for Cedric Mullins and Ryan O'Hearn, again, you don't have to trade. I don't know what you'd have to give it to get those guys, but they're both rentals. So it's not like, and as mentioned before on our show, Matt Snyder, he said, like, you can go get a left fielder for very cheap at the trade deadline. You don't need like a Leo DeVries to make this trade happen. You don't need an Ethan Salas to make this trade happen. The Padres have other players that could potentially help out Baltimore. There might be a couple arms that might be able to help out Baltimore. But I was looking at the list. Again, you also got Ramon Laureano. He's under contract for a couple of years. But what stood out to me before we went on a little bit of a tangent looking at the chat, there was 2 players in particular that I thought jumped off the page in terms of a trade pickup for the Padres. I will tell you about those when we come back, as well as maybe you do make a package deal with Baltimore for a couple of players. Does that get you over the top? We'll talk about it to finish the show on the Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 1:40. I'm now going to go to the Padre game tonight. I was on the fence about going. Thought about it. Oh, I got to ask for parking for tomorrow. I'll be doing my show there tomorrow.
Chat's put you in that good a mood, huh? You're just dropping the Padres today altogether.
Oh, I got to, I forgot I got to get set up for tomorrow. We're doing the show there tomorrow.
These are the jokes, kid.
Didn't. I got asked to go to the game tonight, so I was like, I'll go. My brother's using my parents' tickets, which means I can get a ride from him down to the ballpark. Taking multiple cars down there would be ridiculous. But anyway, so I'll probably go out to the game tonight. I'll be out there with my friend Johnny. Let me go use his tickets tonight. So I'll be down at the game tonight, and I'll be down there tomorrow for my show. So if you're going to the game tomorrow afternoon, I will be on before Sam Levitt, live from the loft. And one of these days, we're going to get Frank out there. Not this time, but the next time. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Oh, thumbs down. Let's talk about the left fielders again. So I teased it going into break. It's a harder exercise than you would think. I mean, you just can't it's easy to just be like, go get somebody. Okay, well, who can you get? You go start from the top and work your way through. Start from the top in the sense of you have to trade with somebody that's willing to just part ways with some of their better players, right? Those are usually teams that don't contend or are not contending. We announced those teams. Angels, Orioles, Athletics, White Sox, Nationals, Pirates, Marlins, Rockies. The maybes that were included. Braves, Reds, Red Sox, Mariners. We did not include the Rangers yet, and we are not including the Diamondbacks because I don't think the Padres and Diamondbacks would make a trade with each other. But you never know. But they're not included in this. From there, we totaled up on our great little spreadsheet here, thanks to Fangraphs. Added all those teams and anybody that has played left field, center field, or right field for those teams for a minimum of at least 90 plate appearances were added to the list. We've had up 41 players. From there, we ranked them based on this season's WRC plus, their weighted runs created plus. If it's higher than 100, they're better than an average player. If it's lower than 100, then they're not. We only included 2 players. We went to 98 on the list because Taylor Ward happened to be at number 98 or happened to be at a 98 WRC plus. He has been linked to the Padres in some sort of way. So that being said, we had our list together. We started to eliminate based on contracts that didn't make sense and teams that were never going to part ways with certain players. Like O'Neal Cruz ain't getting traded. James Wood's not getting traded. Julio Rodriguez isn't getting traded. Knocked us down to about 9 names. Ramon Laureano, Kyle Stowers of Miami, Randy Arozarena, TJ Friedel, Cedric Mullins, Jesus Sanchez, Jake Fraley, Jarren Duran, and then Taylor Ward. Those are the 9 players that are mentioned. Again, a big problem for the Padres in the roster construction right now is they don't really have a right-handed hitting DH. Gavin Sheets has had to do both. Gavin Sheets has not done well against lefties this year. He has not done well against lefties overall in his career. But that being said, when you look at the lineup and everything, or the players that are available, there are not a lot of righties available. Laureano's a righty, Arozarena's a righty, Taylor Ward's a righty. I miss TJ Friedel on here. Is he a righty or a lefty? He's a lefty too. Oh, we'll join the club. Stowers is a lefty. Friedel's a lefty. Sanchez, Mullins, both lefties. Jake Fraley's a lefty. Jarren Duran is a lefty. If that matters. You know, for AJ Preller built teams, it doesn't really have seemed to matter too much, which has led to a potential conversation of, do you trade for a couple of lefties at the trade deadline? Does that matter? I think you kind of have to think about it, because what happens here is when you look at what the Padres, when you look at some of the deals that could be made, the one that is brought up a little bit, which is interesting, Ryan O'Hearn has been brought up multiple times. Why isn't Ryan O'Hearn on this list? Well, he hasn't really done too much in the outfield for Baltimore. He's a DH. Plays first base. I guess he could play in the outfield, but he's been doing mostly first base and DH. He's had a great year. But he's also a lefty. We thought about it during the break, or going into break. You could try to put a package together, try to get Cedric Mullins and Ryan O'Hearn. You bring in two players that are going to help you out. One in left field, one is a DH potentially, or a first baseman. The problem is there are more lefties that you have on this team. Now, whether or not you want to do that role remains to be seen. But I think there's an interesting potential package there for the Padres to get Mullins and O'Hearn from Baltimore. I'm sure they won't be the only bidder for those players. When I looked at the overall list, again, that gets kind of popped up because it's interesting to me. The names that really stood out to me, out of Ramon Laureano, who plays for Baltimore, Kyle Stowers, who's a local product at a Christian high school that plays for Miami, Randy Arozarena, TJ Friedel, Cedric Mullins, Jesus Sanchez, Jake Fraley, Jaron Duran, Taylor Ward. The names that popped out to me were rentals or players that are in situations in which they are blocking a top prospect in that organization. So to me, that gives you Cedric Mullins, who would be a rental, and that gives you Jaron Duran, who would be a guy that is currently playing a position that might be preventing some of the top prospects of the Red Sox from playing. So those are the two to me that make the most sense. Now, as mentioned before, if Jaron Duran is traded during the deadline or before the deadline, his club option goes away. So it's not like he can pick up the club option on his contract. Jaron Duran and Cedric Mullins are both lefties. You still need kind of a right-handed hitting DH, right-handed hitting bat off the bench. I guess you would kind of improve that a little bit with the addition of some of these players. I like the idea of Cedric Mullins and Ryan O'Hearn. It's just whether or not you can stomach the fact that a left-hander is just going to shut you down. Ryan O'Hearn has done decent against lefties this season, but at the same time, like, he hasn't faced a lot of them, and in his career, he's hitting 200 against left-handers. You already really have that problem right now because of, like, last night when Gavin Sheets didn't do well against the left-handers and hasn't done well against left-handers. And so now you're in a situation where you could have, where do you go to the bench? We didn't really talk about this too much, but I guess I could bring it up now. Right now, your right-handed bat is Luis Camposano. But, like, at this point, I don't even know why he's still employed by the Padres. Luis Camposano has not appeared in a game in June. It's June 10th. Now they've had like 9 games or 9 days or whatever it is. Luis Camposano's 0 for 13 this year. And the team obviously doesn't trust them to catch any of the pitchers because they like what Maldonado and Elias Diaz are doing. Catching pitchers. So if he's not on the team to catch, he's got to be on the team to be a DH or potentially be a right-handed hitter off the bench. They didn't use him yesterday to do that. From Kevin Acee's daily newsletter, Luis Camposano regularly catches in the bullpen and practices first base before most games. Despite this, he's unlikely to replace veteran catchers Elias Diaz or Martín Maldonado, who are highly valued for their work with pitchers. The Padres passed on using Camposano at first base during a recent game when Luis Arraez's knee was limiting him to DH duties. Campusano, as mentioned before, is currently 0 for 13, win 2 major league stints this season, limiting his chances to force his way into the lineup. He was recalled on May 24th and used mostly as a pinch hitter or DH against left-handed pitchers. Arraez's knee injury led to some lineup shuffling, but Campusano still hasn't been inserted regularly. Another player, Gavin Sheets, has also filled in at the DH and first base recently. Campusano remains in the Major League roster mainly due to a, quote, lack of right-handed alternatives at the AAA level and no trades for right-handed bats. It's uncertain how long Campusano will be more than a backup catcher at the AAA level. I mean, why is he on the team right now? Luis Campusano, if you're not going to use him, why is he on the team? I don't, you're playing with 25 right now until he starts getting used in the lineup or a potential pinch hit situation. If he's not going to catch, probably should have had a situation in which you had him pinch hit last night as the right-hander against left-handed pitching. But sometimes, and this is kind of what we're going to close with today, since the first hour of the show was emotional roster decision hour, as Frank said, the sarcasm hour. I think we got a lot of people with that. A lot of people were fooled. But in the sarcasm hour, we cut Xander Bogarts, we cut Jason Hayward, we cut Wandy Peralta, did we cut Iglesias? I'm sure we did at some point.
Got close. I think he lived, though.
He lived because they needed someone to play shortstop.
That was Tyler Wade.
Oh, yeah. Well, then who's going to play left field? Kevin Acee. Campusano. We had the emotional first hour that led into the more educated second hour, which has led into the how do you find a left fielder fourth hour. Third hour is talking about ketchup on tacos.
Yeah, no, this hour has been an exercise in it's not as easy as you think to make a trade in Major League Baseball.
Trying to find solutions. Trying to find solutions, right? It's so easy just to say, like, go get a left fielder. All right, well, then who are you going to go get? Well, get this guy. You know, Carpenter on Detroit's great. Yeah, he is. Nobody's debating that. I don't think the Detroit Tigers get rid of him. Austin Hedges in the chat, man, has just been funny. We're fooled by your arrogance. Great show, though. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. So anyway, to go back to this, you have to be able. It's sometimes when you look at your options currently playing, they're playing because your other options are not better. Which, if you want to say that's a, if that falls upon the organization, if that falls upon AJ Preller, I mean, you can say what you want about it, but that's the reality of the situation. And like we talked about yesterday, don't be the person that just bitches, moans, and complains and tells everything about the failures that we all see. Think about some of the options that could potentially fix this problem. If they had better options in the organization, they'd probably be using them. A lot of people are like, give Trenton Brooks a shot. Maybe they will. But he's got to do certain things in AAA for the Padres give him that opportunity. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll be live at the Loft tomorrow for the Braden Surprenant Show. See y'all then.